guys will have breakout years. Bedard, Bratt, which Hughes brother will go off, or take all of them. Entries are just $40 each, 3 for $100 or 7 for $200. Find some buddies and get in on some real NHL pool action with the Keniston Superdraft. Superdraft.com. Entry deadline November 1st, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Hi, this is Stephen Arndt from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as a scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
It is 3:04, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast. Partly sunny skies today with a stray shower possible and a high of 9. Tonight, mainly clear and a low of -5. On Friday, mostly sunny and a high of 9. And on Saturday, partly sunny and a high of 12. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. Winds are from the west at 18 and it's 7 degrees. Regina is also mostly cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 22, gusting to 35, and it's also 7 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are getting ready for 13th Fan Appreciation, Trick, Plays, and Treats, presented by Capital Automotive Group, October 26th at 5, as the Riders face the Stampeders. Coors Light Party in the Park kicks off with costume and pumpkin carving contests and a performance from Rock and Rollers Epic. Dress up for Halloween as kids receive a Riders Halloween candy bucket to collect free treats. Watch Capital Auto's Pick 6 contest, where someone will win a brand new vehicle. Plus, get player autographs during fans on the field after the game. It's 13th Fan Appreciation, Trick, Plays, and Treats, presented by Capital Automotive Group.
You don't want to move cows that don't want to be moved. Instead of trying to move the cows to the water, just install a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System. With a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Leave the cows where they are and move the water to the cows. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Right now, Rider Nation is in a holding pattern when it comes to knowing what's going to happen to us for the CFL playoffs. But in about 48 hours, we're going to know we're either going to be hosting the CFL West semifinal or the CFL West final. While we wait, we have got a ton of Rider football to talk about today on the all-new Sportscage. Thanks for being part of the show. It's Chris Masrick along with the voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas. Now, whether you're listening on 620 CKRM or watching our video stream on X or on YouTube, hey, you know what? We appreciate the support. Give us a follow on X. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Big show today. Charleston Hughes was with us. It was about a month ago, right? Mm-hmm. And when we caught up with Charleston, was he at a hairstylist or at the barber?
He was getting his hair done.
He was getting his hair done.
Done, yeah.
But since Charleston made his appearance on the Sportscage that day, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have gone 4-0. Was he the key to ending the 2-month-long losing streak?
The magical hair. Okay.
Well, okay, so we got to keep that juju going. So we're going to check in with him. He's going to be on around 3:30. And we've also got, and I'm excited because not only are we going to get a chance to talk football with this guy, but we're also going to get a chance to talk farming. Dynamic returns specialist from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mario Alford, is going to be on the show with us today. Now, he's a West Virginia mountaineer, and he's a legit farmer in the offseason.
Absolutely. He says it's a lot different operation than what you'd find here in Saskatchewan, but yes, he does.
You don't often find a lot of football players the off-season job is their farmers. And I want to ask him, because if you've never seen, you can Google this, you go on Instagram. If you're a West Virginia Mountaineer, the tradition there is after the game, if they win, football players and the fans, they link arms and they sing Country Roads by John Denver.
Take me home. That's right.
And it's super cool. They don't have a good team this year, so they haven't had a chance to do that very much.
So you build an identity around something that is based on wins and losses, and then you can't do it. That's tough.
So looking forward to that. Hey, if you want to be part of the show, Capital Ford Lincoln text line, as always, 306-936-6262. Day number 2 of Saskatchewan Roughrider practice. Dave, they know they're in the playoffs. We just don't know where. Are they loose? Are they tense? What's the mood at Mosaic?
It's interesting because I wondered if it would be one of those weeks where you'd have to inject emotion and intensity, right? Because there's so many unknowns. But I was pleasantly surprised. Now, today was a closed practice, so we didn't get an opportunity to see what actually happened on the field. We can tell you that the practice did end early today, which was kind of a nice change. But the day before, there was hooting, there was hollowing, there was a big compete period, which they haven't done for a long time. But they did that where the offense went head-to-head with the defense, and the offense won, and they let you know all about it. So it was loud, it was boisterous, and it was dialed in. And I think those are all great signs this time of year.
Well, because Saturday's game against the Stampeders, and the Stampeders have been out of the playoff picture for a while now. It's not a nothing game. We need a win, because if Montreal ends up beating Winnipeg, we have to win that game. And if we do, and this is crazy to think about, that we could be hosting the CFL West Final, where a month ago, us making the playoffs was still dicey. It wasn't necessarily guaranteed. We had a lot of work to do, yet here we are. So as much as I think probably Corey Mason, the message has been, hey, listen, we can't take anybody lightly. We can't overlook this and start thinking about what's going to happen in 2 weekends from now.
Here's the word they're using. It started with Trevor Harris, momentum. And he says that momentum is huge at this time of year, and they've got a bunch of it with a 4-game winning streak, and they don't want to lose that momentum in a game against Calgary that may mean everything or may mean nothing. So they want to make sure that they've got the appropriate momentum continuing. That's why I would suggest that no matter what the outcome of the game is, that will complete right probably an hour or so before the Riders take the field and kick it off. They'll actually probably be starting their warm-up. That's why it's important to Trevor Harris to keep the momentum and the rhythm going that they've got when they play Calgary.
So here's the thing, and this is why I worry about Montreal. Like, a lot of people are like, okay, they've been in first place so long in the CFL East Division, but they haven't played any meaningful football in a long time. And then they lose last week badly. This week, nobody knows what they're going to do. But remember, this time last year, they had to go on, a crazy 8-9 game winning streak just to get into the playoffs, let alone win the Grey. So they're not peaking at the right time, where last year was a totally different scenario. That's why I think them hosting that East Final, sitting around, they haven't played meaningful football. I think they're vulnerable. Whoever's coming in, if it's Toronto, definitely vulnerable.
Absolutely. They've looked like they haven't looked good.
No,
they've looked completely out of sync since they clinched the East.
Because they haven't played meaningful football. Because they haven't had to look in sync, because it didn't matter.
No, but I think this time around it does. After getting spanked by BC last week, they understand that we got to turn it around. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing rumblings that there are question marks around quarterback.
Whoa.
Right? And to have questions around your quarterback going into Game 18 of the regular season is mind-blowing. But Davis Alexander has been sensational this year.
Well, he's 4-0, right, as a starter?
He's been terrific. He's done everything and more you could possibly have wanted from him. But Cody Fajardo won you a Grey Cup with a final drive that led you to that Grey Cup title last year. So to me, it seems ludicrous that there'd be any other answer, but I could see both of those quarterbacks getting a half to prove themselves worthy of playing in the playoffs in Winnipeg on Saturday.
The one thing I loved about Jason Moss, even before he was a coach for the Riders, I loved how feisty he was. Do you think he kicked at least one garbage can last week in BC, either at halftime or after the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
That's probably the bare minimum, was kicking a garbage can.
Well, but you know what? He may not. I think he's matured as a coach. He may not have done that in front of the team.
Oh, but he was hot on the sideline. You could tell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and in his
mad.
office and when watching the film, it wouldn't have been a happy Jason Moss.
Yeah, that would have been a rough flight home. Because what is it? Vancouver to Montreal is, 5 hours?
Somewhere in that vicinity, yeah.
Yeah. And you know this because you fly on the plane. Do anybody sit near, do any of the players sit near the coaches in the rider situation? I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it. Or is it like coaches, kind of you guys, like media-ish, like other members and the players, do they generally sit in the back of the plane, I would assume?
Like a hockey bus, right?
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't sit near the coach. Nobody wants to sit near the coach.
Well, actually, it's surprising because it's the same as a hockey bus. If you played really well, right, then there's a lot of times that you'll kind of creep up towards, hey, can I get the video? Can I get the film early? I want to look at it, right? But even if you have, again, I'll say it even with this team, they hold themselves at a very high standard, and that's their term, and they hold themselves accountable. And if they believe that they haven't played up to that standard, they take full accountability and they say, I didn't do good. That's on me. And this team's always looking to get better.
What row do you sit on the plane?
Oh man, 8.
Do you get your own row?
No. Luke and I share. We have snacks in between us. It's very nice.
Well, I was going to say, if you're sitting side by side and you leave the seat at the window open, that would just be a little weird.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So is it up to you to buy the snacks? Do the snacks come supplied out in plane because they fly WestJet? Like what is the snack situation?
Apple slices sometimes.
Okay, that's lame.
What do you mean?
Lame.
It's fantastic. Then then there's a sandwich or something.
Okay,
or a
that's
wrap.
good.
Yeah, there's water. There's
okay, that's good.
Gatorade.
I would take a bag of Old Dutch barbecue or salt and vinegar chips after a game. I'd do
that don't happen.
No,
no chips.
No chips.
Cookies.
Oh, cookies, sure.
Cookies and pretzels if you want the pretzels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. Curtis, do you have this? Do you have that Halloween video ready to roll? No. Okay, just a sec. So, we're a week away from Halloween, and the game this weekend is Trick Plays and Treats.
Yes, it is.
It's the 13th fan celebration. So you're encouraged to come dressed in a Halloween costume if you want.
Yeah.
They'll be handing out candy on the concourse. And then yesterday, the Riders put up this social media video where they were trying to
scare, startle,
scare members of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, your starting lineup here. If you're watching the stream, you can see this. Colson, can we get this up on socials too? But just to hear it, because there's not only spooky music, but then there's an air horn as well. Fire away anytime, Curtis. I like the music so far.
Yep, and one of the Rider staff members.
So one of the Rider staff members. So if you've never been in the Rider locker room, a lot of us haven't. They have mannequins of some of the different uniforms that they have, and the mannequin is basically jumping out with the air horn, trying to scare people.
Yeah, and what it is that's the CFL standard for how you're supposed to dress, right? So the players see the mannequins, they understand, okay, here's what we're wearing this week. So, of course, they're wearing Obsidian jerseys again on Saturday, and so that's what you see. Players are walking in the hall towards the locker room, so they're coming into the player lounge, and one of the staff members is dressed as the mannequin, and he comes to life.
The 13th fan game on Saturday, Trick Plays and Treats, starts with countdown to kickoff right here on 620 CKRM at 2, Rider Nation pregame show at 4, kickoff will go at 5, and as always, we wrap up the evening with the Rider Nation Roundtable right after the game. You'll also be able to watch our Rider live stream on Saturday at sportscage.com. If you would like to win a pair of tickets to the game, text the word RIDERS to 306-936-6262. I'd mentioned a lot of football to talk about on the show today. Coming up at around 4:30, Regina Thunder, Murad El-Khatib from the club to talk about the CJFL semifinal Sunday at Leibel Field. Looks like it's going to be a packed house. We'll get the latest from Murad. And stick close. We can see him. He's almost ready to go. Former Saskatchewan Roughrider Charleston Hughes joins the Sportscage next on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
Harvard Media really appreciates local businesses. We know you do too, and that's why we're giving away a $50 gift card to a local restaurant right here in Regina. We have a great line of local restaurants lined up, like Bar Willow Eatery, Tommy's Speak Eatery, Lakeshore Restaurant, and Schmitty's Smoked Meats and Catering. These restaurants are great for business lunches, casual get-togethers, or just to go out. All have dine-in or pick-up options. Visit their websites for their latest menus and hours, and tune into our radio stations to find out how to win.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Bulk oil, we got it. CNH and Fleet Guard filters, we got them. We got lots of everything, and we got it all on sale. For the best price you'll find here, there, or anywhere. E. Barassa & Sons. Every location has bulk oil and filters with unbeatable savings. Today you'll save 20% off or more on CNH and Fleet Guard filters, and $1.20 off per liter on all bulk oil. Are these big-time savings on CNH bulk oil and filters? You bet your sweet Barassa they are. Sale ends October 31st. ebarassa.com.
The next item up for auction is entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. We'll open up the bidding at $25. $25. Who will give me 20? $20 bid, 20. Do I hear $10 bid? Who will give me $10? $10. Who will give me $0? $0 bid, $0. Going once, $0 going twice. Sold for $0.
Connexus members get free entry to the Canadian Western Exhibition. Pick up your multi-day pass at any Connexus branch.
The new king of trucks in Southeast Saskatchewan is Southie Mainline Chrysler. Get $1,500 bonus cash on select Jeep Grand Cherokees. You can also get up to 15% off on select Pacificas, up to $18,000 off on select Ram 1500s, or 0.99% for 72 months financing. It's the new king of trucks in Southeast Saskatchewan, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Visit southeymainline.ca. Southie Mainline Chrysler, worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
If you've ever had to clean out a grain bin in August, you know that most metal buildings can get scorching hot during the summer. Hi, I'm Terry from Zipperlock Building Company. At Zipperlock, our buildings are white, so they absorb far less heat than your average metal farm building. Avoid working in an oven next summer. Store your grain, fertilizer, and farm equipment in a Zipperlock building instead. Zipperlock Building Company, built in hours to last a lifetime. See us in Raymore or call 1-888-692-5515.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Calgary Stampeders. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk is at 2 p.m. Pre-game shows at 4, and kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 5. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Roughrider Radio Network is brought to you by
the Cooperators, SaskTel, and Unifor Locals 1S and 2S. Stream every minute of Rider football at sportscage.com.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We do have Rider tickets to give away. Text the word Riders with an S to 306-936-6262. The Riders will wrap up the regular season on Saturday against the Calgary Stampeders. Joining us now on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It was about a month ago that the Riders were mired in their 2-month-long losing streak. Mm-hmm. And then we had reached out to Charleston Hughes and said, hey, do you want to come on the radio? And that day, Charleston was getting his hair done. We don't know if it was at a hair salon or a barber shop. We don't know how to record it. But ever since then, the Riders are 4-0, and they're unstoppable. So we need to bring them back to keep this juju going into the playoffs. Charleston Hughes, did you know from that day that you would have such an effect on Rider Nation just by making a little appearance on the Sports Cage?
What can I say, man? I'm there at heart. I take full responsibility for that. Let Corey Mays know that too.
Oh, and the Plaza of Honor Committee. We'll pass that along. All right. So before we get into football, so I saw this on social media. You were inducted into the Northwood Athletics Hall of Fame. Can you explain Northwood, what that is to everybody, to Rider Nation and everybody listening? First of all, where that is and what that means to you, because that picture that they put up, I was like, who's that guy? He's just a young pup. I don't recognize that guy. Like that young guy looks fresh with no rings on that tree.
Yeah, that was young 24, 23-year-old Charleston. But yeah, man, Northwood is a Division II school in the heart of Michigan, Midland, Michigan. It's where I spent my years playing football from 2003 to 2006. But you know what? I enjoyed every minute being there. They finally inducted me into the Sports Hall of Fame, the Athletic Hall of Fame at Northwood University. It's something that I really, cherish, and I'm honored, and I feel amazing that they even remotely put me in something like that in such a short period of time. Yeah, man, it's an honor to be nominated like that.
If you're watching the stream, you can see, look at that. Look at that fresh face. And then we have you running with the football. Was that from a strip sack? Was that an interception? Did they have you playing receiver? Look at you. You look like you're running for the end zone there.
Oh, running for my life. No, right there. That was an interception, actually. I played like a middle, outside, strong safety type position back then, wearing number 96.
Wow. So obviously going into the Hall of Fame for the school, you're looked upon as a leader and a mentor. What would you tell the athletes that are kicking around there right now about your time there, and maybe even throw out a great recruiting pitch?
I would definitely tell them, it doesn't matter where you are and where you start your career at. The path to success is a ugly road, and it's not a pretty road. But the thing is, as long as you work hard and you devote yourself to something, a certain goal, and you strive for it, you can reach your dreams and reach all your goals imaginable.
Charleston Hughes is joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline here on the all-new Sportscage. It's Maz, Dave, Thomas. Now, did you say you were wearing number 96 and then you ended up being 39? So did the training staff hate you at Northwood and gave you 96, or did you pick that on your own? Because, hey, listen, athletes, it's important what number you wear. Because how did you settle on 39 when you were playing in the CFL?
I actually like being an oddball at a position like that. Like when I started in high school, started playing football in high school, I wore number 30. So I was like, okay, I like 30. And then once I got to college, they gave me number 96. And no, it was the only number that I thought was cool. I was like, all right, I can't get 30. Somebody took 30. Can't get a 30 number. Somebody took all the 30 numbers. So I said, forget it. If I want to stand out, I'm just going to get the most oddball number at linebacker I could find. And I was like, 96 got to be super oddball at linebackers, strong safety. So I said, forget it. I'll just take 96. And at Northwood, at Calgary, it was the same thing. When I got with the Calgary Stampeders, I was like a linebacker when I first got there. So 39 was a linebacker number at that time. Mm-hmm. When I switched to defensive line, like even my Grey Cup ring says linebacker still. But when I switched to defensive line when I was at Calgary, they asked me if I wanted to switch numbers, and I said, no, I might as well just stick with it. No, I'm always the oddball. Might as well keep it going.
All right. Well, it's funny. So you mentioned the Calgary Stampeders. You mentioned a Grey Cup ring. There's no chance of them winning a Grey Cup this year. They're not making the playoffs. A lot of people said, I thought, well, they've just had a bad year. A lot of people in and around the CFL in the know saying, well, this is actually almost 2 bad years they've had. You watch this game very intently. Where are you on the Stampeders? Is this just a one-season thing, or did you see this last year, the wheels starting to come off, and then it just has ended up where we're at right now?
Yeah, it's 2 bad years back-to-back, man, and it's unfortunate because I got friends over there who still play for that team. I got friends on the coaching staff over there, and when it's like that and you're going through, a rough patch or a rebuilding season, I guess you could say, it's tough, and you got to kind of weather the storm the best way you can. I think over the years, the talent level in Calgary has gone down. It's just an organization where they just got to get back to doing what they do best and find talented guys who play football and are just ballers on the field. I think they slightly got away from that culture and tried to bring in like a different type of culture of football players and football talent, and it didn't work out for them.
Charleston Hughes, I'm torn on how to ask this question.
Uh-oh.
As a professional athlete, right? How do you approach this last football game if you're the Calgary Stampeders, for example, right? Are you making business decisions and not putting your body on the line? Do you have something to prove by putting something out on tape? Or even go back to the Jerry Maguire scenario, right? Remember when Rod was playing out his contract and got hurt and everybody stopped to wait and see what was going to happen? How do you approach that as an athlete?
Well, it ain't. I know you're not playing for playoffs and you're not playing for a championship, but you still are playing to feed your family. That's the best way to put it, man. So you got to play for a contract. Some of those guys, this is their last year on the contract. Some of those guys, you know, they're playing for a bigger contract. You're playing to make a team. You're playing to make another team. And you got to go out there and still perform. You got to still show some type of excitement for next year to show that we got some guys that can play and we're going to be ready to play for next year.
Two of the names that you would know because you spent a lot of time in and around the CFL and the Stamps that I think are key losses to the Stamps. Jameer Thurman, who's been gone a couple years because he played in Hamilton. He's now with the Riders. But I would say one of the biggest off-season signings that hurt the Stamps was Derek Wigan, a guy who you didn't notice until he's not there because that defense looks totally different without Derek Wigan doing what he did so quietly for so many years. And people will be like, oh, yeah, it just seemed to an unsung hero, but you take him out of the mix and that defense just hasn't looked right all year.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Wiggins grow from his rookie season all the way up until I thought he was going to retire as Stampeder. I actually didn't think he was ever going to leave there because of how much of a great guy he is on and off the field, how much of a leader he actually became to that team, which that was surprising to me because he's not a real outspoken guy. But to see him breaking down huddles and giving pregame speeches and rallying the troops up on that team and seeing, you know, how much progress he's gained as a leader, it's surprising to see them let go of a player like that and then expect. I have no clue who the leader of that team is now at this point, especially on defense. Maybe Cameron Judge. But the thing is at this point, you got to find guys like that to lead your team and lead your team well, especially because he's been there to transcend through all the years of seeing great players come and go. So the thing is he's a big loss to that team and the community.
Charleston, you played on a number of great teams that down the stretch wouldn't have had a lot to play for as far as the standing goes in the regular season. But I don't know if you've ever or encountered a dynamic like what we're going to see at Mosaic Stadium where the fans can not only celebrate a home playoff game, but potentially finishing first in the West. Have you ever seen anything like that where the game can mean pride or it can mean first place?
Not really, man. I've played in a lot of football games, but the big ones are the ones where you really, really got to bring your A game and show up to play for the fans. You know, for first place, there's so much at stake. You know, I love games like that because everyone's nervous. Everyone's, you know, timid about what's going to happen. And I would say cream rises to the top, and the best players are going to show what they got during that game.
Now, when we talked to you a month ago, when we were mired in the losing streak, you said they're doing all the right things. They're just not winning, but eventually that will change. So, and you were right. So what are some of the things you've seen over the past month out of the Saskatchewan Roughriders that you're like, all right, I like what I see, and it's translating into success? Like, what's the first thing that jumps out at you because you watch the game differently? You're not a fan. You played the game at the highest level.
I mean, at this point, I'm seeing unselfish football. You don't see a lot of players, you know, bickering and arguing on the sideline. You can tell the guys have rallied together in support of players like Mulligan. And the thing is when you got a player like that on your team who's playing at such a high level at multiple positions, you elevate the team. You elevate the play of all the players around you, and I think that's what's happening right now is they've found their spark, and their spark has been him the whole entire time. And now everybody's rallying behind him and the rest of the defense and playing some football now.
You mentioned Roland Milligan Jr.'s name, and obviously the season he's had is one for the ages. But obviously if you make it to the CFL, you're a great football player. What takes you from that great level to the elite level that Milligan Jr. has found himself in for most of the year?
I think I made fun of him online like a couple weeks ago when I saw that he made Defense Player of the Year, and I was like, he's going to win it hands down. But there was a game that I played with him on the field when he was still a kind of a young player. I think it was rookie season, really. And I was kind of phasing out of football at that time, and I got the chance to touch the field with him. And I remember we were playing in Winnipeg. We were driving down into the red zone, and I stopped the play, right before we were going into the red zone. They were coming in to score, and I went and rallied all the DBs up, and I said, Mulligan, in this zone, there's a corner route coming. And I told him, I said, watch the corner route. Just play the corner route. It's going to happen right now, this play. Line up, boom. The play comes. They run a corner route. He's all over the play. They broke it up. He comes back and was like, how'd you know that? And I'm like, man, I watch enough film, and I'll show you how to do it when they get off this game. They come right back the next play. I call out the very next play and tell them they ran a corner out on the next play. Watch corner post now. They ran the exact same play, and they scored a touchdown, but it kind of brought a sense of this guy knows what he was doing. And it brought some light to what football really is and what you can learn from watching film and dedicating yourself into the film room. And he saw firsthand what a veteran player kind of looks like. And he's told me that, that was inspiration for him, that if a defensive lineman can call out plays for a defensive back on how to cover a route, then he should be able to do that himself and take the, entitlement to actually go out and watch film and be able to see what I seen.
Okay, Charleston, guilty pleasure of mine. I love watching poker on TV. Don't ask me why, but I try to find guys' tells, and that's what I'm all about. So when you're watching film and able to point that out to Roland Milligan Jr., what tells are you looking for?
You got to look at field position. You got to look at what hash mark you're on. You got to look at what player is in what position. I mean, you got to be smart enough to know that if I can't even remember the number 10 at Winnipeg. What's his name?
Dembski.
Nick Dembski?
Dembski, there you go. You got to know if Dembski is in the slot and he is running full speed at you, it is 100% probably going to be a corner route or some kind of a fade deep route, and you got to be ready for stuff like that. And those are the tells that you got to look for, man, is who's in what position, what yard line are you on the field, and pretty much you just play the odds from there. I'm a poker player too, and I play odds.
I'm not taking them on though.
Yeah.
So let's just get this straight. So you've said twice you've called him Mulligan. We call him Roland Milligan. Is that your nickname for him? Because obviously you played together, so you know him a little differently. Are you just having some fun with him, calling him Mulligan instead of Milligan?
Yeah, man, that's Mulligan.
Okay. All right.
I've taken enough of those in my golf game. So if you're a player in the Rough Rider dressing room right now, what are you doing to prepare yourself for this game, which, again, you're going out there. Nobody wants to say it, but I'm going to say it right now. Nobody wants to see an injury in Game 18 of the regular season. I'm assuming you can't go out there playing not to get hurt because that's probably a scenario for disaster. How are you preparing yourself to play this game? Any differently than Week 1 to Week 18?
Well, I would say, differently from Week 1 to Week 18, but you got to take this last month and play consistent to this game. So how you've been playing for the last month is you got to take it into this game. Don't hold nothing back. Make sure you're 100% healthy. You're feeling strong, confident, good. Make sure you brush your teeth at night. with some green toothpaste. I mean, go get your nails done, your feet done. Make sure your feet ready to run. Do whatever you got to do to make sure that you're ready for this game, because it's going to be a big game. And like I said, big-time players make big-time plays in big games.
All right. So we're a week away. We're going to wrap on this. We're a week away from Halloween. Charleston Hughes, are you a Halloween guy? And if you are, what's the latest costume you dressed as?
Right now, I've been eyeing up that costume with the guy, the cowboy riding a dinosaur.
Nice. Oh, like the blow-up thing. Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know if you've seen social media, but we have it posted on the Sportscage Twitter account. There's a Zamboni driver that got arrested in Quebec because he was drunk driving the Zamboni dressed like a kangaroo. So he was in the Halloween spirit a little early. So
I like it.
That's an only in Canada situation. A drunk Zamboni driver got a DUI dressed as a kangaroo.
There's a lot of layers to that story.
And we have the video posted at Sportscage. Charleston Hughes, don't keep your phone handy. We got to check in as we get further into the playoffs, because you're the good juju that broke the losing streak. And now we're 4-0 and looking for win number 5. It's on the Western Pizza guest hotline. All right, we're going to take a break on the all-new Sportscage. Normally, Glen Suitor joins us on Tuesdays and Thursdays just after 5, but because Glen is traveling to do some of the CFL games this weekend, we're going to catch up with Suits in the next couple of minutes here. You are listening to the all-new Sportscage on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
Saskatchewan is a great place to live. Our economy is strong and our future is bright. Now you have a choice to make. You can vote to keep Saskatchewan strong and growing, or we can take a step back to the NDP days of losing people, jobs, and opportunities, watching our taxes go up and our province decline. Let's never go back to that. Let's keep our economy strong and our future bright. Vote for Saskatchewan. Vote for the Saskatchewan Party.
Authorized by the financial agents for all provincial Saskatchewan Party candidates.
The greatest auto sale has arrived at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Behold our dazzling weekly Ringmaster specials. Early year-end prices that will have you gasping. And Cash for Clunkers is back. Get a minimum $3,000 for your vehicle, guaranteed. There's food and games galore. Plus, win your share of thousands in unbelievable prizes. So come one, come all to the greatest auto sale at Crestview.
Bring home the buck with gear from the Go Hunt sale. All now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Stay warm and stay hidden on your next hunting trip with $100 off the Cabela's Insulated XL Ground Blind. And scout deer without alerting them with the Tacticam Reveal Pro 3.0 cellular trail camera featuring undetectable no-glow IR flash technology. Now $30 off. Gear up for success at the Go Hunt sale. On now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. See online for more details.
It's time to bring the thunder. The Regina Thunder are back in action this Sunday as they host the Okanagan Sun. Come out Sunday afternoon and cheer on your Regina Thunder for this CJFL semifinals playoff as they aim to dominate the Sun. Advance tickets are available at reginathunder.ca or can be purchased at the gate. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. at Livel Field. Regina Thunder football. Bring the Thunder.
Get your equipment out of the rain and snow and under the roof of a new storage building from Olympic Buildings. Have a warm, dry place to work and keep everything out of the cold. Olympic Buildings. Buildings to meet your budget. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
The all-new Sportscage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
Saturday, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will wrap up their regular season. It's the 13th fan appreciation game, taking on the Calgary Stampeders. Our countdown to kickoff will go at 2 o'clock here on 620 CKRM. And if you would like tickets to the game, you can text the word RIDERS to 306-936-6262. It's Maz along with the voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas, and normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Glen Suitor is on with us just after 5, but because he's traveling to Edmonton to get ready to do the game tomorrow between the Argos and the Elks, we catch him now. So, Suits, we just had Charleston Hughes on, And we mentioned the name Roland Milligan Jr., and then he said back, he called him Roland Mulligan, and then he said it again a second time, and we're like, hold on, you're saying Mulligan, his name's Milligan. He goes, oh no, Mulligan, that's my nickname. That's my nickname for him. So...
Well, I don't understand the nickname, though. Like, I know Mulligan, if I remember correctly, was when you duffed one off the tee and then picked it up and re-teed it up. That was a mulligan.
He said there's been no mulligans from number 0 this year. If anything, he is birdieing and eagling every hole on the golf course, if you ask a lot of the CFL people in the know.
Maybe it's because he's bailing the offense out and giving them a second try.
Oh, look at Colson coming in there, dropping some knowledge.
For the offense. I like it. Okay. Are we sure that Charleston thought, that deeply into it, or did he?
Well, here let's also add on to this. We asked him what he's going to be for Halloween. He said he wants to be the blow up the cowboy with the blow up dinosaur that you wear around your waist. He's got his eye on that for this year for Halloween.
Wow. Awesome. Where is he going? Not trick-or-treating. Tell me he's not going trick-or-treating.
We didn't. Hey, listen, it's not for us to judge, and we didn't get into that. You're on your way to Edmonton, where the Elks will take on the Argos tomorrow. Toronto has looked like one of, if not the, outside of the Riders, the best team in the CFL lately. In your estimation, is it because that defense has come together and that D-line has become dominant and stopping the run, whoever they're playing?
Yeah, that's a big reason for it. But, I also think it's very tough to judge, the best team in the league in these last sort of 3 weeks, because every team is facing sort of a different scenario. The Argos are resting players in Edmonton because they know where they are in the playoffs, and Edmonton's not in the playoffs, so they're auditioning other players. Calgary's going to audition some players and go through rotations in Saskatchewan, although they would love to be sort of spoiler if the Bombers don't win in that previous game, so in the game before the Rider game. So I think it's a little tough to sort of look at the landscape and say, Toronto's the best team in the league in the last 2 weeks, or they're the hottest team. But you're right, though. Their improvement, to me, has been stopping the run, defense first, like physical at the line of scrimmage. Arimolade is one of the best rush ends in the league, doesn't get talked about near enough. And I think Wynton McManus is one of the best linebackers. Him, Jameer Thurman, Nick Anderson in Edmonton, those are your top 3 in my mind. And maybe Darnell Sankey in Montreal. So, I think they've got the leadership, they've got the physicality on both offense and defense. But your thought about can they stop the run, to me, if you take the 2 top teams, or you take in the West anyway, you take the top team in the West, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right now. I said 2 weeks ago that I think the Riders have really closed the gap on them, but they are still the top team. And one of the reasons for that is their physicality at the line of scrimmage, especially this time of year. So they run the ball well offensively. And defense, think back about, 3-4 weeks ago, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers allowed Nathan Rourke just 2 first downs in an entire game. I mean, I've never seen that in my time in football as a player or as an analyst. Never. Just, 2 or 3 first downs in an entire game. That is not even remotely possible, I thought. So anyway, that's how good the Bomber defense can be. I think the Montreal defense has that capability. And as you mentioned, with Roland and those guys, that group can get it done too. I'm not sure they're top ranked just yet, but they certainly can get it done.
Glen, Suitor, I totally understand what you're saying when it comes to the difficulty in making assessments on teams late in the season. But I'm going to send a shout out to Ron from Moose Jaw, who stopped me outside practice back on Tuesday. And he asked me about the week. And I said, I'm intrigued by this week with all the ramifications. And he says, what are you talking about? There's only one standing spot available. I'm like, no. There's ramifications moving forward because players, teams, franchises have a lot to prove, and some need to really take a step ahead. So in your estimation, who's got the most to prove this week, whether it's standings related or not?
Well, you're right about that, Dave, is that the thought that they don't mean anything. And I'm not a fan of that term at all. Like, a game doesn't mean anything, because it always means something, because this is their livelihoods. So, you're not going to go to any day at work and just sort of mail it in, or you might not be working at that place any longer. And that's how you put food on the table. So they always mean something. But as far as your question on who has more to prove, I think you could go down the line in individuals. I mean, I had a chance to talk just recently because I'm doing the Calgary game with Jake Mayer, and Jake is going to start that game, it looks like. And, I asked him about how his season went, things like that. And he said, I want to finish on a strong note. He loves playing in Saskatchewan, so he's looking forward to that. But he said, I want to finish on a strong note so I just feel better in the off season and I can restart for no matter what happens next year. Already the doubt in his mind is coming up about whether or not he'll be back in Calgary. And I think we could all say, it's totally up in the air for everybody in Calgary the way their season went. So when you think of examples like that, like how many players are trying to prove to the entire league that they're worth investing in? Trey Ford in Edmonton. He wants to go out and rip it up so that either the Elks or another team in the league says, okay, you know what? You've done enough as a backup that we believe you can be a franchise player. And you don't think for a second that every snap Trey Ford takes, he wants to show the rest of the league and his own team right now that he's worth that investment? Of course he is. So there's a lot of that going on for the teams that aren't in the playoffs. I think the trickiest situation for any team really is Montreal. They've gone 3 or 4 weeks now knowing they're in first place. Mm-hmm. And that is a really tricky balancing act. And I don't care how hard you try, and we could say they're professionals and they have to play hard every time. If that's the case, I'll ask you guys a question. Why is it that NHL hockey players don't play their hardest in every game of the regular season? Because there's a different level of play in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So why don't they play every single regular season game at their highest level? Because you can't. You physically can't. Mentally you can't. It's impossible to manufacture the urgency of a playoff game. I think that's tough. I shouldn't say tough, because you want first place, you earn first place. But for Montreal, it's the trickiest sort of dynamic to negotiate. Is all of these games they've had to play that don't change their status in the playoffs.
Yeah, Dave and I talked about this right off the top of the show. Montreal hasn't played meaningful football in 5 or 6 weeks, and we think could cost them, because last year they had to win every game just to get in, and then they were peaked at the right time, and then they ended up winning the Grey Cup. Total different story this year. You played in the league a long time. You've been covering it even longer. Have you ever, in your memory, when it was announced earlier this week, it almost like it didn't seem right that the Calgary Stampeders are going to have the first pick in the CFL draft because of how they finished that? That is not anything. That is never, maybe because of a trade scenario they got a first pick, but not because of the record where the Stamps are going to pick number 1 overall. How the mighty have fallen. And, wow.
Yeah, it's totally true. I mean, but this is, this season alone has been so different than past seasons in just there's oftentimes I will try to sell, as a broadcaster of our game, I'll try to sell the parity in the league. And sometimes I'm trying to convince myself that there's more parity, because sometimes there's a team that
there's been some nights, Glenn, you and Dustin Nielsen have been earning your money trying to put some lipstick on that piece of livestock that is below you, because there's been some tough games to call where
exactly. But in this year if you go back and look at Montreal's wins, if you go back and look at Saskatchewan's wins and maybe even Saskatchewan's losses, and you look at how, their record could be different if the command center doesn't get involved in Ottawa, if the one play happens differently in a home game, like if the field goal kicker if Lowther makes 3 out of 5 instead of misses that one game. So you start to look at how close and how tight these games have been. I think the approach from Montreal, from Jason Moss, and this is not right or wrong, it's just it's different for everybody, but for Jason Moss, he wants his guys to be playing. So that's why Cody Fajardo played half a game last week in Vancouver. He wants them to play, and he wants them to get that feeling back of playing at a high level. Again, though, I think it's counterproductive because this is my personal opinion, because your mind can't – it's very difficult to get your mind to that level of do or die when you're trying to manufacture it and it's not real. So he's kind of asking them to play with playoff intensity, but he's fighting against really the forces of nature in a lot of ways, like just human nature. So I don't know. I think it's difficult. For me, it's always like, I'll put it to you this way. If the Bombers win and I'm Corey Mace, Trevor's not playing, neither is A.J. Ouellette, probably not Micah Johnson, maybe even Roland Milligan. Now, I don't know what his approach will be, and again, it's not right or wrong. All I'm saying is the ex-player in me would rather – I would never ask a coach to sit out, but the ex-player in me would much rather be fresh and as healthy as I could be going into a playoff game than to bang it out in a game that doesn't change our playoff fortunes. I'd much rather do that. And, I think a lot of players, if you ask them honestly, once they're done the game, because if they say it when they're in the game, their coach goes, "Oh, you don't want to play? I guess we got the wrong guy."
Ooh.
Like that kind of thing. So, you don't ever say it to a coach. But, everybody's a little banged up now. Everybody's a little banged up. You've got the risk of injury, which can happen at any time. But to me, especially if you don't have the week off for the final, if the Riders are playing in the semifinal, they got it at home, BC Lions are coming to town, wouldn't it help if the guy who covers punts as well as Roland Milligan did and also plays short side halfback, one of the toughest spots on the field defensively to play, and it hasn't seasoned? Wouldn't it be nice to give him an extra week so he is 100% fresh in that playoff game? I mean, that's just a personal opinion. Again, not right or wrong. If Corey Mace decides to go in another direction, it's not a criticism. It's just what I would do. And I remember Mark Trestman doing it a ton when he had Calvillo and that group that was winning Grey Cups.
Suits, we're getting up against it. I do want to ask you one more quick question, but before I should mention that's how you and I are athletically different in the fact that you would ask the coaches to sit down and I was told to sit down. So completely different ends of the spectrum there. But having said that, I'm a firm believer that there's obviously physical and mental preparation for a game, but I think there's emotional preparation as well. And I'm curious if you agree, and if you're a Saskatchewan Roughrider, right, you could be approaching this game with everything on the line, or you could be approaching this as an opportunity to gear up for the playoffs, if you know what I mean. How do you do that emotionally so that you're playing your best come Saturday?
Well, I think you err on the side of getting emotionally ready no matter what happens in the Winnipeg game, and you try to train your mind and be disciplined in your mind to think that way. Again, though, that if they lose, fights, or excuse me, if they win, if the Bombers win, that fights against human nature. It's like, I thought it would be interesting to see if Corey Mace is going to allow the team to watch the first game. Or is he going to try to just keep their focus on the game that they have to play? And that's real old school way of thinking, because think of it now, guys. Like back in the day, the coach could decide because there'd be one TV in the locker room and he'd either decide to turn it on or not turn it on. And if you didn't have that on, you weren't watching the game. But now the guys can look on their phones. They could be, coach could walk by and they could say, "Yeah, I'm just texting my wife, coach, thanks." And they're watching the game on their phone, right? So, and by the way, Dave, I wouldn't ever have told the coach to sit me down. I would never have told him. I would be thinking it, but I would never have
Hey, listen. If he pulls a hamstring in warm-up, how are they to know that it's not real, all right? All right. So Glen Suitor, you're like, well, wait a minute. It's Thursday, but it's not 5. So Suits was on with us a little today because he is the Loverboy song working for the weekend. He's got a double dip. Toronto, Edmonton tomorrow, and then he's back home here in Saskatchewan on Saturday. He's doing the Rider Stampeder game. Glenn, as always, we appreciate it. Safe travels. If you missed any part of this interview, you can always catch up on the podcast at sportscage.com. We've got to take a break. The Regina Pats made a major trade today. We'll tell you about that on the other side of the news. This is big. And as well, we're going to be joined by... His nickname is Super Mario. We know him as Mario Alford. Maybe Charleston Hughes knows him as something else. But the dynamic return specialist from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mario Alford, will join us after 4 o'clock right here on the all-new Sports Cage.
Welcome to the greatest GM certified pre-owned auto sale. We're the largest used vehicle retailer in the area and largest certified pre-owned Cadillac dealer in Canada, with over 180 pre-owned trucks and SUVs, with all makes and models in stock, low mileage vehicles, and even lower prices with low rates and financing available on all GM certified pre-owned vehicles, plus roadside assistance and a 150 plus point inspection. The greatest GM certified pre-owned auto sale at the Capital Auto Mall on the corner of Pasqua and Rochdale in Regina.
Are you losing sleep over your debt, being hounded by collection calls? My name is Jasmine Brown, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina. I understand that this can be a stressful situation, and I'm here to help. I can put a stop to these collection calls and guide you toward your debt-free future. All it takes is one phone call. Let's discuss your debt relief options during a free consultation. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Calgary Stampeders. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Duncan at 2 p.m. Pre-game shows at 4, and kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 5. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Roughrider Radio Network is brought to you by
Johnston's Grain, Capital Automotive Group, Sask Party Caucus, and SegaPlayNow.com. Stream every minute of Rider football at SportsCage.com.
Easy to use, tough to beat. Kubota's compact tractors are perfect for fall and winter jobs with attachments to do it all year long. Right now, get financing as low as 0% on select models. See your Kubota dealer for details.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's mostly cloudy and it's 7 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op. Proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually. And by Mercedes-Benz Regina, for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. Saskatchewan NDP leader Carla Beck says she would work with the federal government to address homelessness if elected on Monday. Federal Housing Minister Sean Fraser has said that he hasn't heard from Saskatchewan on whether it will work together on finding shelter for those experiencing homelessness. Beck says she wants to be a leader who sits down with federal officials to work out proper deals for Saskatchewan residents.
We should be working with the federal government, working with municipalities to ensure that we are providing the best services for people in this province.
Beck has said an NDP government would introduce rent caps and make vacant provincial housing units available to families. Elections Saskatchewan has said that 119,406 people have voted in the first 2 days of voting week. That is up about 25,000 from the 2020 numbers and the second highest total of advance voting recorded overall. You still have until 7 tonight, as well as on Friday and Saturday, before Monday's Election Day. For the latest coverage of Sask Votes 2024, including profiles of all the party leaders, go to 620ckrm.com or sasktoday.ca. Southie RCMP responded to a fatal collision on Highway 6 about 10 kilometers north of Regina last night at about 6:30 p.m. A 35-year-old male driver from the Piapot First Nation was declared deceased at the scene. An adult male passenger from the same vehicle was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the second vehicle involved in the crash was seriously injured and taken to the hospital. The highway was closed for an investigation but has since reopened. The RCMP is continuing the investigation with the assistance from a collision reconstructionist. The U.S. federal government is planning to offer an apology to America's indigenous population for the tragic legacy of residential schools. U.S. President Joe Biden will deliver the historic apology in person tomorrow at the Gila River Indian Community in Arizona.
I'm heading to do something that should have been done a long time ago. Make a formal apology to the Indian nations for the way we treated their children.
The U.S. government removed tens of thousands of children from their culture and placed them in residential schools for 150 years. The last of the government-funded schools closed in 1969. And the Greater Vancouver Zoo is mourning the death of one of its iconic animals after Jenga the giraffe was found dead in his barn on Wednesday. The zoo said in a statement that the 8-year-old male was found peacefully resting in his barn stall moments after having a meal on Wednesday. Jenga has left us far too soon, said Manita Prasad, the director of animal care at the zoo, noting in a statement that Jenga was known for his bold and curious personality and eagerness to interact with staff and surroundings. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
When you shop at Sherwood Co-op, you're contributing to your community
while building equity and putting money back in your pocket.
Others may claim to be local, but Sherwood Co-op is truly local.
Rooted in your community for over 90 years.
They're a proud Saskatchewan company
who continue to support hundreds of community organizations each year.
Like the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at the Regina General Hospital and the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
The luxury of Mercedes-Benz has never been more within reach with the fall demo event at Mercedes-Benz Regina. Save up to $32,000 on select models like the luxurious EQE 350. Get the premium performance and elegance Mercedes-Benz is known for, but with unmatched value when you choose certified pre-owned. Take advantage of the opportunity to experience the Mercedes-Benz you've always dreamed of, without compromise. Book your test drive at Mercedes-Benz Regina.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, clearing with a low of -5. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 9. On Saturday, partly sunny and a high of 12. And then on Sunday, partly to mostly sunny and a high of 17. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly sunny, winds from the west at 22, and it's 10 degrees. Regina is mostly cloudy, winds are from the west at 22, and it's 7 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We appreciate you being part of the show today. If you're watching our live stream on X or on YouTube, hey, give us a follow, subscribe, so when the show starts or we want to do anything fun, that'll just pop up automatically. If you're listening to the all-new Sports Cage on 620 CKRM, as you've been doing for years and years and years, hey, we appreciate that. It's Chris Mazurek along with the voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas, and in about a half hour's time, we're going to be joined by Murad El-Khatib from the Regina Thunder. They're playing in the CJFL semifinal Sunday at Leibel Field against the Okanagan Sun. We're going to have him on to talk about what this means for the program and for the city. We're going out on the Western Pizza guest hotline right now. Now, a lot of you know this Saskatchewan Roughrider as our dynamic return specialist, punts, kickoffs. It's Mario Alford, but one of the things that I am very, very jealous of is Mario got a chance to be part of one of the coolest traditions in college football because he is a West Virginia Mountaineer. And if you've never seen this, just Google it. You can go on Instagram. They link arms, fans and players, after a win, and they sing Country Roads by John Denver. Mario, first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. Anytime that you ever hear that song or you catch a little piece on the internet, does that take you right back to when you were a Mountaineer in college?
Oh, man, immediately. Like, every time I hear that song, that's what I think about, you know. And I feel it's God's country, you know. You up in the beautiful mountains looking over top of everything. And even when they play it in our stadium, it just do something, give me chills. So I love when we do that, and if I hear it anywhere else, it just give me chills as well. But such a great tradition.
When they play that at Mosaic Stadium, Mario, it's kind of like the fan sing-along song. Be honest, are you singing along?
Yeah. Oh, 100% every time. Honestly, that song, it just something about it. Like I said, it just give me chills and make me think about, you know, when I was playing, and just remind me West Virginia is home to me. So it just remind me of home so much. So
now, one of the things that Dave said when we were putting the show together today, he goes, yeah, we got Mario Alford coming on, so we can talk football, but we can also talk about farming. And I'm like, whoa, what? You don't often ever hear about football players there in the off season and the jobs or what they do outside of football. But you're 100% legit farmer, correct?
100%, yes.
See?
Correct.
Well, I'm not saying that it was hashtag fake news or false information or whatever. All right, so listen, you're in, well, you know you're in farm country around here, back home in West Virginia. So what are you doing? What are you growing? Like what how many acres we got?
No,
are you running livestock?
Cattle,
like what are we working
farm.
on?
It's a cattle farm.
Nice. How many head?
Great cattle. We got like about 130, I want to say, or so. So a nice bit.
Now, when we talked earlier this year, we had kind of put it out there that you wouldn't mind going out to see a farm, and I know on the 620 CKRM Country Cookout, you went along. What did you see on the farm
I did.
that kind of, that's interesting?
I really didn't, like, we just stayed at the house in the garage. I just know they did crops and stuff like that. Grain or whatever they do. But I really didn't get to see everything. Like, I got to talk to the farmers and stuff, but I really didn't go see the equipment and see how they run everything around it. But it was cool being out there just to get a little different aspect of farming.
All right, so we're chatting with Mario Alford from the Saskatchewan Roughriders here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Not only does he return kicks and punts and missed field goals, but he's also a farmer in the offseason back home in West Virginia. Now, you said when you went to the Country Cookout, you're checking out equipment. So back home, so are you a John Deere guy, a New Holland guy, a Massey Ferguson? Like what brand do you rep back home? Because this is important. A lot of people are going to either love you even more with the answer you're going to give or go, I don't know if I'm buying his jersey at the Riders store now.
Walk the line, Mario. Walk the line.
Listen, he can say whatever. Like, we just need him. He's got to pick a brand, pick a team.
Yeah, New Holland guy.
You're a New. He's blue. New Holland.
Fair enough. You know what? You keep saying kick returner, punt returner, but Mario, agreed to disagree with me if you want, but I don't think you get the props that you should. Like, you were a receiver in college. You caught passes in the NFL. Like, we should be giving you more credit as a receiver, too. You made that 6-yard reception at such a critical time in Hamilton earlier this year. We should give you your due, shouldn't we?
I know, man, 100%. Even this week in practice, man, we came off practice. I was a look for the starting defense, and I'm playing like the scout offense, and I'm a receiver, and I'm catching balls all over the place. It's crazy. They like, man, you taking Rio back to his college days. So, and the guys was just loving it because they haven't seen me play receiver much, but I was doing my thing out there. I miss it, honestly.
Now, okay, take me back to that Hamilton game, right? The game is on the line. You make a 6-yard reception because we had some injuries at the receiver spot. Did you know in the huddle that there was a good chance that play was coming to you, and what were you feeling?
Well, yeah, I knew I had a slant, and the DB was playing like 7-8 yards off, and I knew we had to get like three, like the first down. I think it was like 3 yards or so. So I ran the quick slant. Trevor threw me a great ball. I had to go down and get it. Obviously, they tried to cheat us on the call, said no catch, but I knew I caught it. So it was a great ball and great catch. So.
We're chatting with Mario Alford here of the Saskatchewan Roughriders on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Mario, one of the things I always wanted to know, you've had punt returns, you've had kickoffs, you've had missed field goals go for touchdowns. I always want to know as a fan, when that does happen and you ultimately end up scoring, can you see the path right from start to finish, or is it that split-second thing where something will happen in front of you, or is the vision there because you've done it so often to be like, all right, I know where this thing needs to go?
Honestly, it's just a feel thing. Like it's just one of them things where you coach draw up the game plan, you go left or right or middle, and obviously you want to go with the game plan. But if I see something, if I see open grass or open lane, I hit it. We call it maverick. I won't take it that way. I go another way, and like you said, because I've been doing it so long, and it's just like second nature to me at this point, and I just get my way through there. And once I'm in front of everybody, it's a house call. So,
do you see
one of the things I just feel real well?
I was going to ask you, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to ask, do you see tendencies on film when you're preparing for a game? Is that kind of what you're watching for? I know that you do a ton of work.
Tendency, no, because like I said, if coach draw up a return to go left or right, the guys can scheme it up well, and I don't really see no tendency. It's just all instincts and vision at this point, you know what I mean? So it's just all instincts and your vision with the ball and your playmaking ability take over then. So that's some stuff you can't coach there.
Well, Mario, so you've been with the Riders for a while, and the past couple of years wasn't the success, not the playoffs. This year, 4-game winning streak in the playoffs. Outside of, there was a bit of a rough stretch in the summer. How much fun has it been to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider this year?
Oh, it's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful thing. The games we lost, man, we lost those games, obviously. Little mistakes here and there. And, the games we lost, me, Trevor, and Sam was talking about this last week. We counted a total of 11 points that we lost by in the games that we lost. So, all the games we lost, it was a total of 11 points total that we lost by. So, all the games we only lost by 2 point, 1 point, 3 point, whatever. And that because we was making, mistakes on our end. It's not nothing that the other team did, just our little mistakes we made. But right now, we're in a perfect position we want to be in, and it's about who get hot at the right time. And I feel like we are that. We got a great team. We got great coaches. We just playing ball like we should, and everybody's on the same page. We love each other. We got each other back, and I think that's huge. We're brothers, and we're able to tell if somebody's slacking. We're able to tell that person like, pick your stuff up. Let's go. I wanted to say the other word, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I wanted to tell the guy like, let's go. So and nobody get mad, and everybody just come to work every day, just having fun. So it's definitely a great feeling right now.
I call this weekend kind of the celebration game, right? Fans are coming out to the stadium. I'm hoping it'll be a packed place because a chance to celebrate, whether that be playing for first place in the West Division or the opportunity that this team had and took to clinch a home playoff spot. What is it like, or what does it mean to be able to have this opportunity to get out in front of the fans in the last regular season game here on Saturday?
It feels great. The fans here are amazing, and we need them. We need them this game and play up through the playoffs because, that's huge. That home field advantage always huge, and the Rider fans always bring their energy, and I love it, man. I love this place, love the fans, and like I said, let's go. We want to do it for the fans. They deserve it, and we do too. So we need to pack the house and get this thing rolling.
And you can wear a Halloween costume this weekend.
But if
yeah,
we can. We can possibly put something on our face before we run out, and we in the city in uniforms too.
I know. How long have you been doing the? Now, some guys will wear the eye black for football, but you kind of take it further. How long have you been doing that? Where you're like, I'm like, all right, there's more to that. Like that's serious business. I don't know. Was it?
Sankey did it for a while.
Sankey did it for a while.
Still does it, yeah.
No, but Bell did it. Coach now.
Josh Bell.
Yeah, Josh Bell did it like to the extreme. Have you always done that, Mario, or is that just when you got into the CFL?
Yeah, I start when I got into the CFL. I always been painting my eyes like that. So I've been doing that since I've been in the CFL. Didn't do it in college. Just something new that I like the look of. It looked cool, so I just stuck with it, and here we are.
So if, again, in Saskatchewan, a lot of people are talking about elections. The big vote, though, that we want to know in Rider Nation is Roland Milligan Jr. I think we can all agree that he has a pretty good shot at being the most outstanding player, but did he steal your special teams award this year?
No, man. I honestly, I tell a lot of young guys this all the time. Like it's not about me or about it's about the team. Like I don't look at that stuff. I just leave. I just play ball and have fun. Obviously, I know what I can do. Roland Milligan have been playing absolutely incredible the whole season, like phenomenal. He deserved all the awards, literally. But we support him, but. I just want to win at this point. I want to win. I want to get to a championship. I don't want plenty of awards in my career. Not saying that I don't want to win anymore. It's just I play ball and I let everything else fall in place. But I want to win a championship. But 100%, Roland Milligan, 100%. That guy, he deserves it. So he's been playing absolutely lights out, and he definitely deserves it.
Mario Alford is with us here on the all-new Sportscage on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. So here's what we've learned, Dave. When Mario decides to break one and do his own thing and do a return, that's called a maverick.
Yep.
He's a farmer in West Virginia. Cattle is what they do, 130 head. He's a New Holland guy. All right, so Mario, we'll wrap on this. So since you're a beef guy, what's your favorite cut of beef? When it's time for you, let's say you're going out a nice meal. Are you a ribeye? Are you a filet? Are you a New York? Do you like a good sirloin? Like where do you fall on the steak scale?
That's hard. Oh, normally, that's a hard one because I really like them all. But I'd take a ribeye.
Oh, nice ribeye. Bone-in ribeye, or do we want that trimmed off?
Yeah, a bone in, give it extra.
I know it does, because a lot of people don't know this. They're like, ooh, a bone, because a bone, the meat next to the bone is the most tender that you could possibly get. It's funny. If you were to put up the chart of a cow and where all the steaks come from in front of your teammates, you could probably school them to be like, they would have no idea where all of
No
that.
idea.
No idea.
See, the question that I really
100%.
wanted to know is when it's time for the Mario Alford sing-along on Saturday with Country Roads, which teammate did you want to be standing beside to help you sing?
Oh, which teammate? Take me home. Who do I want to? Let me see.
Lake Corte Moore strikes me as a guy just because of the haircut. He could probably go Country Roads. He could probably do it.
He could. I would say AJ Olette. He would love it.
He would. Yes, I agree. That's a great call.
He would definitely love it.
Well, we appreciate your time, Mario. Congratulations. It's been fun this past month watching you guys. Basically, when it all came back together, and it's like at times we're watching as Rider fans, and it's kind of like when they talk about teams playing good football and peaking at the right moment. There's as a fan, as part of someone in Rider Nation, you guys are doing all the right things at the right time. So best of luck on Saturday.
No, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
And we'll try and get you a deal on a New Holland. We need a tractor, a combine. Like, what are we looking for? Balers? Like, what do we need? Like, do we gotta go? Like, are we full spread here? Like, are we financing this? Are we doing a cash deal? Like everything? Yeah. And you'll do a personal endorsement deal. Okay, all right. We'll act. Hey, you already have an agent, but maybe we'll be we'll be the farm agents for you.
There you go.
We'll be the ag agents for you.
Right, do that for me.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
We're on it. We're going to go Maverick on this deal. You let us do our thing, and then we'll get back in touch. It's Mario Alford from the Saskatchewan Roughriders on the all-new Sportscage. If you missed any part of that, you can go to sportscage.com and catch the podcast.
Once again, a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack there. All right, Maverick. Hey, the Regina Pats made news today, trading Sam Aremba to the Spokane Chiefs for 2 draft picks.
Yeah, 19-year-old, again, a Regina product, so going to be heading down south. 3 goals, 3 assists in his first 10 games for the team. So team's making a move. Of course, they're in a retool mode right now, so General Manager Alan Miller saw an opportunity to make his team better, and he did it today. So, and again, good for young Sam Aremba, who's going to get an opportunity to further his career and take on another role in Spokane.
Yeah, I mean, if you can stock the cupboards, I mean, you do what you can when the phone's ringing and you answer, and if it's what you're going to do. There's no games in the Western Hockey League tonight, 10 games in the Dub tomorrow night, including the Pats at home to the Calgary Hitmen, and we'll have the game right here on 620 CKRM, 6:30 pregame, and the face-off will go at 7. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, time to talk junior football. The Regina Thunder playing the Okanagan Sun in the CJFL semifinal Sunday at Leibel Field. We'll be joined by Murad El-Khatib in just a couple of minutes. This is the all-new Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
When it comes to duct cleaning, call Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They'll clean out the dust and debris that builds up over the summer. When you need protection, they offer a monthly plan for homeowners to get regular service done on their AC and furnace, as well as plumbing. And when it comes to furnace servicing, it's never too early to get that done too. Bronco will service your furnace and have you ready to go before winter hits. Consider it today, so you can rest easy tomorrow. Learn more at broncoplumbing.com.
The world-famous Keniston Super Draft is back for the NHL season, and $90,000 is up for grabs. Everyone is vying for the $20,000 first-place prize. Be one of 14 winners of $1,000. Do new surroundings mean more points for Stamkos and Gensel in Music City or Stevenson in Seattle? Entries are just $40 each, 3 for $100 or 7 for $200. Find some buddies and get in on some real NHL pool action with the Keniston Super Draft. Superdraft.com. Entry deadline November 1st, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Winter brings tougher driving weather, and that means it's time to winter up those tires on your vehicle. Regina Motor Products has got an offer that will make your ride safer and your wallet happier. Before you hit the snowy open road, get your tires swapped for winter with rebates as high as $120 off a full set of winter tires. You don't want to wait. Book now and be ready for all that cold stuff. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
The government just asked us to save the world. They'll do it. They've made a few requests, so they want you to bring back floppy disks, pet rocks, and they all want Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Well, that last one we can do.
You don't want to miss a thing. That's why at Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, they have so much to offer, like SaskTel wireless internet. Contact Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
I'm delving in? What does that even mean? Can you only delve into something? Because you know what I like to do? Delve out of Saskatchewan winters. But at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer Snowclaw winter tires. Cooper Discoverer Snowclaw winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Discoverer Snowclaw winter tires. They'll help you delve into winter driving conditions.
Can you dig it? This fall, you can with Kubota's lineup of excavators. Take your productivity to another level with power and comfort. This fall, save up to $4,500 in select excavators. See your Kubota dealer for details.
The all-new Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Well, if you've missed any of the show, you've missed a lot so far today. It's Maz and Dave Thomas filling in for Barney. He'll be back in tomorrow. Let's see. Charleston Hughes told us in the first hour that what he wants to dress up for Halloween, and he calls Roland Milligan Jr. Roland Mulligan on purpose. That's his nickname that he gave him from when they played together a few years ago. We found out moments ago from Mario Alford that when he decides to not follow the coach's play or the called play on a special team return, it's called Maverick.
Maverick, yeah.
Hey, Maverick.
Yeah.
And that Maverick name, just be like when you watch those Top Gun movies, it just assumes like you're a loose cannon, you're like a wildcat, like you're untamable.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it. And by the way, we on the text line, we do have an opportunity for Mario next season to go out to Unity and check out their operation. Now, I don't know if that's a sly way of saying come out and clean the stalls, or if that's just really legit, come out and check out our operation, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we also learned that Mario Alford in the offseason back home in West Virginia, he runs a cattle farm with about 130 head of cattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he likes a good bone-in ribeye. So if we're going out for steaks, Saturday after the game, are we taking Mario for steaks somewhere?
There you go. You can buy.
Well, as long as you drive, I'm fine.
We're done, okay?
If you drive, or maybe Mario's got a cool car. He probably doesn't have a car. He probably drives a truck. If he's a farmer.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what he does. No, I don't know that answer.
Oh, we should ask him because we asked him what kind of equipment he uses. We should ask him what kind of truck he drives.
Oh.
Yeah, like is he a Chev guy? Is he a Ford guy? Is he a Dodge guy?
Those are all such...
I know, but is he diesel or gas?
You're such a divisive person, man.
Well, no, but you want to know. We want to know our Saskatchewan Roughriders, right? We want to feel like
I know,
there.
but you're just going ahead and throwing it out there. Like, trust me. Brand loyalty is number one in this province.
I know. Oh, hey, should we talk politics? Who are you voting for in the election? So here's the thing. Now, Double C's. Now, you're a lot younger than us. I'm just asking this question. Have you voted before? No, this is a legitimate question. You don't have to answer yes.
Have you voted before?
Have you voted before? Well, no, because
I guess, yeah.
Well, no, because Danica Patrick, the former NASCAR driver, IndyCar driver, came out today and she put on social media, and she's 40-ish. She said today is the first time she has ever voted in her life.
Really?
So we can't just assume because you turn 18 and you're given the right to vote that you have voted. Colson, you?
Yes, I have voted.
Okay. Have you already voted for this election early since you were able to do it?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. You're waiting till Monday?
It's election week. You can vote anytime except for Sunday.
Except for Sunday.
For Sunday.
Curtis?
I have voted, not in this election yet.
Yes, but you will.
Yeah, maybe.
So here's the... See, and that right there is... Okay, so but here's the point. Now, if I'm a political person or a party, and maybe the polls aren't trending in the right direction right now, this is where I'm going to get desperate, and I'm going to start throwing out all the goodies. Like I would promise. Now, this is not going to come true, and I'll never be able to live up to it. But it's politics; it doesn't matter. I would say, listen, I'm going to cancel the if I win, I'm canceling the PST. Everybody's getting free winter tires.
Oh, okay.
And what would be another good perk here in Saskatchewan just to kind of like sway people over the line if you were trying to buy votes?
Oh, God.
Winter tires and no PST. What else? There's got to be a third thing in there.
You got me on that one. I don't know.
Lowering the price of liquor, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Good try. That's why we're not in charge, or you're not in charge anyway.
Oh, there's Murad. He's on the screen. No, we were not there yet.
All right.
We're going to talk Regina Rams football here in just a sec with Murad out.
Regina Thunder.
Regina Thunder,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm getting confused. Rams are playing tomorrow night, Thunder on Sunday. It's a busy football weekend. There's a lot going on in the show here today. Are we good, Curtis? No, we're not. We're filibustering right now?
I'll give you a thumbs up.
You giving a thumbs up?
Okay.
Okay.
You know, interesting, talking about voting, and I'm sorry, I'm going to bring this back to the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Okay.
Because now the vote, of course, goes divisional, right? So we learn who the West Division nominees are and who the East Division nominees are. And I was reading something that there was a lot of folks that were very upset that Stanley Bryant was going to be given the nod from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and saying that, and again, you have to be careful what you read online, but saying that the Bombers only put him because he's got name recognition so he'll win the award. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that this is on merit. Like, I don't think you have to worry about his name being out there just because he's a darn good offensive lineman. Yeah. So to me, that just really muddied the waters. Again, I fully respect the Saskatchewan Roughriders who got those individual nods, and it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up. Roland Milligan Jr., again, 3 nominations out of 6.
Well, and that's the thing, because you've seen this happen before when the writers or the people that do get a chance to vote, and then shenanigans happen and somebody obvious doesn't win. Like Roland Milligan, like he was nominated for 3, has got to win 1 at least for sure, if not all 3. And that most outstanding, because look at last year, without Roland Milligan and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, look at him this year when he plays and how good he is. He is such a difference maker on the football team. If he doesn't win, it's a travesty. It's one of those, I don't know what people were thinking. Maybe there's bias.
The one name that I find very intriguing is Bo Levi Mitchell. Because for him to be considered the most outstanding player, he has got so much, such a huge lead in passing yards this year, and he was sat down for a game.
And nobody will catch him.
No, his touchdown to interception ratio, not where he'd want it to be. And he doesn't have his team going into the playoffs, but does that immediately exclude him from most outstanding player contention?
Well, common sense would say so, but numbers-wise, no. It would put him right there. That even getting benched and playing less game, all of that, and he's still so much further ahead. And could you imagine if... Now, here's the part about Hamilton. It's funny, we had RJ Broadhead on the show last week. Could you imagine what his numbers would have been if some of those passes weren't dropped and some of those completions were made? Like right in the hands, like Tim White right in the hands. There was that one where it was a beautiful over-the-shoulder, probably a 55 or 60-yard pass, easy touchdown drop.
Yeah,
And
no.
He had tons of those. Would he be flirting with 5,500 to 5,700 yards if he's just over 5,000 with some of those drops?
I think the other number that would have been more intriguing is would a couple of those drops netted Hamilton a couple of more wins.
Yeah, and that's probably the most important thing where Bo would keep in mind. He had a little something to prove to a lot of people that he could still play, but I think deep down he's a team guy, and if that meant they were in the playoffs for a chance at the Grey Cup where they could really do some damage, that's probably the most important thing.
Agreed.
But in a season where it's kind of like, okay, you're going to bench me, and then now you're going to need me? No, I need to prove a point to you. And the thing is, probably him and Scott Milanovich, who was it saying last week that they're probably so much alike, and that's why there's probably that, what we think is that friction or that head-to-head.
Yeah.
It's just a quarterback, an offensive guy who was a quarterback coaching another quarterback and just being like, no, we're doing it this way. And I think he's made Bo better.
Yeah. Bo's healthy,
from
though.
where he was in Hamilton. Now, in Calgary, the way Dickinson handled him to get the most of was perfect.
Yeah.
But the launch point in Hamilton was a little rocky.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm just torn. I'm very curious as to whether or not he would get consideration for most outstanding player. Most valuable player to your team, definitely. He is that.
Yes.
Most outstanding player, I don't know whether or not you have to have the criteria that you've got your team into the playoffs at least, right? That's the question there.
If you'd like to win a pair of tickets to go watch the Rider game on Saturday to take on the Stamps, all you need to do is text the word Riders with an S to 306-936-6262. And if you're going to the game on Saturday, you can dress in costume. We're a week away from Halloween, and they will be handing out candy on the concourse to fans. There's also going to be party in the park. You're going to have the happy hour, and it's the 13th fan. Do we have Murad now? Joining us on the line, Regina Thunder, Murad El-Khatib. Murad, take us back to Sunday at SMF Field in Saskatoon. So what is this situation when it comes to travel? Now, when you guys were to play the Hilltops and when we had Scott McCauley on, we said, well, it would be a fun ride home on Sunday. What's the contingent like? How many buses does the team take? How many fans and you guys all together? Like, what kind of caravan was trucking to Saskatoon to be part of what ended up to being probably a pretty sweet memory for you guys when the Thunder ended up beating the Hilltops?
Well, Maz, we had 4 buses, again, 2 with the starting players, 2 with the non-dressing players. I would say 40% of the fans at SMF were Regina Thunder fans that had traveled down. So, literally hundreds of people there. So, it was a pretty joyous caravan. And, again, people are using the words like, it was a big upset. It was a great, hard-fought game, but this was the top 2 teams in the PFC. Some could argue, 2 of the top teams in the entire country. So to us, it wasn't a surprise. It was an executed game plan.
Just to go back to that for just a second, Murad, I think that is an amazing move and or gesture on the part of the Regina Thunder organization to make sure that they took the players that weren't going to be dressing up to Saskatoon for the game. How important was that to the organization to make sure they were there?
Listen, the Scott McCauley culture and the Murad El-Khatib culture that we've kind of fostered here is, like, the scout team is just as important as the guy that's starting at linebacker, like Stephen Smith, who's on the Riders practice roster. I mean, those guys work just as hard, right? Everybody is a part of this team. So the ability to take them down, have them there with their brothers, watching them jump the fence at SMF, celebrating on the field, I mean, man, it was like an incredible experience. And, you look at it, and again, odds were stacked against us. We lost 32-11 in the last game to them. But if you look at it, guys, we had a game plan and we executed. I used that term before. We ran for 341 yards. We were 8 of 11 passing for 64 yards in the game. I mean, we're a passing team. But we recognized our strengths. Our strengths were our O-line, again, 1,100 yards rushing in the last 3 games, right? Again, you can't ignore, what a good executed game plan can do. And we used our O-line, and we've got 2 running backs, that are ultimately very different, and that was the difference in the game.
So by time the fourth quarter rolled around and you're in the stands, how nervous or tense are you, because the game plan was being executed. You guys were leading, but now it's down to the final 15 minutes. And you said it. This is one of the best teams in the country. Now because you, probably like a proud father, yeah. What's the anxiety? Like, what level are we at? If 10's the highest, where are you when the fourth quarter starts?
It's funny, Maz, because, I felt completely at peace with it because we were putting the ball in the hands of the guys that could win us the game. And if we didn't win, we'd done everything we can to win that game. So, again, I can't say I wasn't, obviously anxious as they got back to within 5 points and, again, 61 seconds left, they're on their 12-yard line, and then we're literally having a pass into the end zone, of which we knocked down to win the game. It was tense in that side, but I'll tell you what, the boys on the field, that defense systematically, knocked down that ball in the final 3 plays. They bent, they didn't crack. We had a couple of penalties that were called on that drive. But again, the last 2 plays were great defensive plays.
Not to get too philosophical, but we've talked about the Regina Thunder program, junior football, and the opportunity that it has to go ahead and mold young athletes into contributing people in the community. And one of the biggest lessons I would submit that you have to learn is teamwork. And to me, Sunday's game looked like a complete team that was out on the field. And maybe you've alluded to it a little bit, but is this the most tight-knit group that you have seen with the Regina Thunder in 25 years?
I said to the team leading up to the game, I said, boys, you're climbing. You can't start to climb when you're in the playoffs in the conference championship, right? We started that climb after the defeat to the Hilltops 3 weeks before that. And, ultimately when I look at it, I remember going to the dressing room at the halftime and grabbing, one of our captains, Austin Wood, who's a receiver, who I don't believe had a single touch. And I said, Austin, you're blocking like a bad boy out there, right? Again, everybody was all in, and they knew exactly what their role was. Our fullback coming in on certain series, again, acting like a sixth offensive lineman. Everybody had a role, and everybody executed that role. And, that gelling of the team, what we basically said to the guys is, look, you're a top team in the country, but it's up to you. And, again, we coached them. We put the game plan in their hands. But at the end of the day, coaches don't win games, right? Players that ultimately have to execute the game plan. And, again, I'm proud of the boys for doing it. Again, we walked in believing that we could win the game. So, again, it's everybody said a big upset. And we don't want to sound like we're not arrogant about it. But it wasn't an upset to us. We knew we could win the game if we executed, and we did.
Murad El-Khatib from the Regina Thunder joining us on the all-new Sportscage on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. All right, so the Okanagan Sun are coming to town on Sunday, Leibel Field, 1 o'clock. Weather looks decent. What do we know about this Okanagan football team? What is their bread and butter? If you guys have rushed for 1,100 yards in the past 3 games, I would say the run game is the Thunder bread and butter. What are the Okanagan Sun leading on to get to this point?
Well, again, talented team, 12-0 this year. They beat us in the national championship 2 years ago, 21-19 at Mosaic. So, we have a bit of familiarity with the offensive scheme. Really strong running back. Again, rushed for over 110 yards in their conference final. Secondary is probably one of the best secondaries we've seen. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 11 interceptions in 2 playoff games. So, again, strong secondary. They're good on the pass, defense, and balanced attack. Again, we'll put our defense up against any defense or any offense in this country. Again, very strong defense led by guys like Stephen Smith and, Tanchek, who had an interception in the Hilltops game. And then Adam King and our DBs, it was interesting. The Hilltops players decided to talk in the media about how our DBs weren't strong leading into the game. So those were the quotes in the Star Phoenix and other places. But we've got a pretty strong DB core ourselves. So it's going to be a heck of a football game at Leibel Field. We decided to host. It's our house, and so we decided we're going to pack Leibel Field. We're expecting, we think we're going to get upwards of 1,400 to 1,500 fans. So the berm will be packed. It'll be standing room only, and it's going to be loud in there for our boys.
Okay, I'm blushing as I say this. For the first time I had an opportunity to attend a Regina Thunder game was earlier this season, and the atmosphere was outstanding. I can only imagine what it's going to look like with 1,400 or 1,500 people in there. How do we get a ticket if we want to go to this thing?
Tomorrow morning, I believe at noon tomorrow, you can go on Eventbrite and purchase advanced tickets. So we've got, seated tickets, so in the bowl, and then there are standing room tickets. So the standing room tickets are stand along the fences, or we're going to have that berm. The grass berm in the end zones are going to be open. We're expecting there to be hundreds of fans packing the berm. So, go on Eventbrite. We're expecting this to sell out before, end of day Friday or maybe Saturday. So ultimately, we're expecting a sellout of the thing. You won't get tickets at the door, likely.
All right. Well, Murad, best of luck on the weekend. Sounds like the game plan is unfolding like you guys probably drew it up in the offseason, and this past weekend was just one more box that was ticked to the ultimate goal of becoming national champions. And to let fans know, even with a win on Sunday, the national championship game will be played down east, correct?
That's right. It's Ontario on November the 9th. And, I do want to remind our fans that if you can't get down to our game on Sunday here, you can go to CJFL TV and watch the live stream as well. So, make sure that you support the team by either watching the live stream or coming on down. And then we'll do our best on Sunday, and then we'll go down to Ontario, hopefully, and bring it home.
Nice. Well, best of luck.
Yep, the climb is on, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
No problem. All right, we're going to take a break here on the all-new Sports Cage. Friday Night Lights, we're going to do the Thursday edition next. There is championship football. I mean, there's a lot of football going on this weekend, but there's a championship game happening today at Mosaic Stadium. We'll fill you in and give you the details. The all-new Sports Cage continues next on 620 CKRM.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
Don't miss the McDougall Auctioneers Regina Monthly Ag and Industrial Equipment Auction, closing October 28th at 12 noon. Up for auction, 3 2023 Bourgault 3335 air drills, John Deere combines and tractors, Diamond tri-axle trailer with grain cleaner assembly, a 2004 Peterbilt 379, and more. The McDougall Auctioneers Regina Monthly Ag and Industrial Equipment Auction, closing October 28th at 12 noon. Visit McDougallAuction.com for more information.
Saskatchewan is a great place to live. Our economy is strong and our future is bright. Now you have a choice to make. You can vote to keep Saskatchewan strong and growing, or we can take a step back to the NDP days of losing people, jobs, and opportunities, watching our taxes go up and our province decline. Let's never go back to that. Let's keep our economy strong and our future bright. Vote for Saskatchewan. Vote for the Saskatchewan Party.
Authorized by the financial agents for all provincial Saskatchewan Party candidates.
Bulk oil, we got it. CNH and Fleet Guard filters, we got them. We got lots of everything, and we got it all on sale. For the best price you'll find here, there, or anywhere. E. Barassa & Sons. Every location has bulk oil and filters with unbeatable savings. Today you'll save 20% off or more on CNH and Fleet Guard filters, and $1.20 off per liter on all bulk oil. Are these big-time savings on CNH bulk oil and filters? You bet your sweet Barassa they are. Sale ends October 31st. ebarassa.com.
The next item up for auction is entry to the Canadian Western Agribition. We'll open up the bidding at $25. $25. Who will give me 20? $20 bid, 20. Do I hear $10 bid? Who will give me $10? Who will give me $0 bid? $0 going once, $0 going twice. Sold for $0.
Connexus members get free entry to the Canadian Western Agribition. Pick up your multi-day pass at any Connexus branch.
The weather might be cold, but you don't have to be. Stay warm when you head outdoors with essential clothing from the Go Hunt sale, on now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Keep everyone cozy this season with up to 40% off flannel for the family. And keep the chill at bay with 30% off select men's, women's, and youth heat holders, toques, gloves, mitts, and socks. Warm up with hot deals from the Go Hunt sale, on now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. See online for more details.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are getting ready for 13th Fan Appreciation, Trick, Plays, and Treats, presented by Capital Automotive Group, October 26th at 5 as the Riders face the Stampeders. Coors Light Party in the Park kicks off with costume and pumpkin carving contests and a performance from Rock and Rollers Epic. Dress up for Halloween as kids receive a Riders Halloween candy bucket to collect free treats. Watch Capital Auto's Pick 6 contest, where someone will win a brand new vehicle. Plus, get player autographs during Fans on the Field after the game. It's 13th Fan Appreciation, Trick, Plays, and Treats, presented by Capital Automotive Group.
The all-new Sports Cage is proud to present Friday Night Lights, our in-depth look at high school football across Saskatchewan. Friday Night Lights is brought to you by Regina Motor Products. Take advantage of their winter tire swap. Save up to $20. Book today.
It's the special Thursday championship edition of Friday Night Lights. Tonight at Mosaic Stadium for the 5A City Championship, you have number 1 F.W. Johnson playing number 2 Tom, the Trojans.
Ooh.
And it is football weather out there.
Oh, it is.
It's chilly. You expect the run game to be a big deal. The good thing is, though, it's chilly, but thankfully it's not windy. Everybody can deal with, it's late October, we deal with that. It's the wind that usually wrecks situations like this.
Quick story from practice this week for the Riders. It was whoever is doing the music for practice is on point.
Okay.
They always have a theme and something going on, and so it was snowing for day one back on Tuesday, and the team came out to Foreigners cold as ice. I'm like, that's excellent. I don't know who's on it, who would even recognize the song, but full marks.
There's probably some players be like, I don't even know what this is. I've never heard this before.
They loved it, though. They loved it, so...
If you're a Johnson or a Tom fan or a parent, bring the blanket to Mosaic and you can huddle together. Kickoff there goes at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, the playoffs will continue. Number 1, Miller playing number 4, Laboldis. That'll be 5:15 at Mosaic. And then number 2, Riffle plays Campbell, 7:30 at Mosaic. And the 6A final between those teams will be next Friday at Mosaic, 6 o'clock.
There you go.
There's NFL Thursday night football. The Vikings are at the Rams, and although the Rams are 2-4, and it hasn't been a great season, they're almost, with Sean McVay, they're sneaky enough, I think, to still, depending the game plan, if you get Matthew Stafford on his game, the Vikings are 5-1, but they're coming off a loss. This could be one of those sneaky, just when you thought you had the NFL absolutely figured out, a game like this may come along to be like, how did that happen?
As evidenced by my fantasy team, I do not have the NFL figured out. And tonight's game, I would have thought, if I was looking at the outside in, yes, I understand what you're saying that Minnesota is 5-1, but Los Angeles just seems to do something at home.
They do.
And so that game is at SoFi tonight in LA. So
yeah, and there's been rumbles this week about Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp potentially getting traded. If they were to get rid of those two, besides Aaron Donald, what's left of the Rams then? Like, you have no identity.
No.
Like, if you were to get rid of, like, that's nuts. It's just got to be rumors.
That's a Jerry Jones kind of trade or something.
That's a Jerry Jones kind of trade. Speaking of, Cowboys and 49ers play this weekend.
Yeah, they play Sunday night. I know, I'm well aware of that, and I'm just waiting.
All I have
disaster.
in my notes is, how will these teams respond to coming off big losses?
Well, I'm pretty sure that one team will do much better than the other one. And they have 49ers.
And the other game, and then there's a meme floating around, Colson, maybe we'll put it up. The Jets are taking on the Patriots. And if the Jets lose, that season's pretty much over. So all of that Devontae Adams drama, and I said this before he got traded, maybe it wasn't, why can't I think of him? Offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots that got canned in Vegas, the coach that they all turned on.
It'll come to me. Hold on.
Anyways, the Vegas Raiders are 2-4. The New York Jets are 2-4. So there you go, Devontae. And apparently, I was reading today, after the game last week, he spoke to the team. And could you imagine if you're one of the veterans on the Jets, like, you've been there literally not even 72 hours, and you're going to address the team because you're Aaron Rodgers' buddy?
Yeah,
that team is a disaster. And trust me, I like Aaron Rodgers, but this is getting to the point of ridiculous. Eagles and Bengals on Sunday as well. That's the Bengals. If the Bengals have to beat a good team for them to actually live up to any kind of potential. Like I said, same with the Bills.
And you're putting Philadelphia in the category as a good team?
Well, they're not the worst.
Yeah, they're not Dallas. And again, I follow Dallas. But
I don't know why everybody hates Nick Sirianni. So he yells at the fans. Isn't everybody in Philly abrasive?
It's happened before, right?
Was Colson adjusting his hair, or was he telling us that we need to go to break? I couldn't tell because he was
telling us to go to break, telling me to have faith in my Cowboys. I think that's what he was trying to do.
We've talked a lot of football today on the all-new Sportscage. When we come back after 5, there's hockey news. The Pats made a big trade today. There's 9 games in the NHL. We'll dive into that and the SJ to go along with. You're listening to the all-new and watching the all-new Sportscage on 620 CKRM and at sportscage.com.
Yo, it's your furnace. Sorry, I caught a cold. Actually, you should be apologizing to me. I heard that Aero Plumbing and Heating will tune up your furnace for only $129. So I'm gonna sit back and relax while Aero makes me feel all warm and cozy inside. You go ahead and visit aeroplumbing.ca and get that scheduled, huh?
Aero Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some will try to tell you 8 inches is enough. Others will say 10 inches will do. But when you want a lot of pizza, you gotta hanker down with a delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. Why mess with a good thing? You know what you want. 13 inches of pepperoni pizza perfection from Western Pizza. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
When it comes to money, you can bet that everyone has questions. What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Len had questions, he talked to Brian Golly.
Anytime I have any concerns, I'll either send him an email or text him, and he gets back to me right away. But he's still very forthright. Gets back to me right away and lets me know how things are going.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions. 306-546-2533.
I would recommend him to anyone.
The greatest auto sale has arrived at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Behold our dazzling weekly Ringmaster specials. Early year-end prices that will have you gasping. And Cash for Clunkers is back. Get a minimum $3,000 for your vehicle, guaranteed. There's food and games galore. Plus, win your share of thousands in unbelievable prizes. So come one, come all to the greatest auto sale at Crestview.
Sorry to scare you in the shower. Mother sent me to tell you that Future Vision is having a big 2-for-1 sale, with international styles arriving daily.
Future Vision. Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those eyes?
Oh, and Future Vision is a proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2023.
The straw that broke the camel's back? What does that even mean? Do camels even use straws? Are we talking paper or plastic? If you think this Saskatchewan winter might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Evolution Winter Tires. Cooper Evolution Winter Tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Evolution Winter Tires. And give that poor camel a break.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Calgary Stampeders. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk is at 2 p.m. Pre-game shows at 4, and kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 5. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Roughrider Radio Network is brought to you by Western Ag Professional Agronomy, Sask Lotteries, and your Saskatchewan Agco dealers. Stream every minute of Rider football at sportscage.com.
Hi folks, Tim from Young's Equipment, your genuine Case IH parts and service dealer. Harvest is moving fast, so let's plan for next year. There has never been a more critical time to have your equipment ready. Book winter inspections on Case IH combines, tractors, and sprayers. Take advantage of our reduced inspection pricing, 10% off all genuine Case IH parts installed with the inspection. Special trucking rates and Young's loyalty program. Slots are filling fast. Contact Young's Equipment to avoid disappointment. Check youngs.ca today. Conditions apply.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's mostly sunny and it's 8 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Hubbard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound and Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Saskatchewan's NDP leader Carla Beck says she wants to collaborate with federal partners to address homelessness if elected. Federal Housing Minister Sean Fraser says he has yet to hear from Saskatchewan about partnering to shelter those in need. Beck says she might disagree with the federal government at times, but it's still important to be at the table.
There are also instances like the Farmer Care Program, like the Child Care Program, where Saskatchewan people stand to benefit. This is the kind of leadership I would provide if I were Premier of this province, where our leaders get to the table and get the best deal for Saskatchewan people.
Beck has said that NDP government would introduce rent caps, make vacant provincial housing units available to families, and increase the supply of rental units. Election Saskatchewan said that 119,406 people have voted in the first 2 days of voting week. That's up about 25,000 from the 2020 numbers and the second highest total of advance voting recorded overall. You still have until 7 tonight, as well as on Friday and Saturday, before Monday's Election Day. For the latest coverage of Sask Votes 2024, including profiles of all the party leaders, go to 620ckrm.com or sasktoday.ca. On the 24th, the BOLO program launched an expanded campaign to find Daniel Juma Dree Adam, wanted on a Canada-wide warrant for a fatal shooting in Regina in 2023. The campaign includes billboards in Regina, Calgary, Edmonton, and other cities, and offers a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to Adam's arrest. The man, who has ties to Western provinces, is sought in connection with the death of Roman Miller. Crime Stoppers will protect the anonymity of tipsters, and those who help secure Adam's arrest can collect wards confidentially. Palestinian officials say an Israeli strike on a school where displaced civilians were sheltering killed at least 17 people. Reporter Tom Sufi-Burridge says an additional 42 people were wounded in the strike in Nuseirat.
It's Nuseirat, that's in a central area of the Gaza Strip. It's on a school where a lot of families were sheltering. We're seeing images of young children and elderly people in amongst the injured and the dead. The IDF says it was targeting a Hamas command and control center in that school.
Meantime, the Israeli army says 4 soldiers were killed and 11 others wounded in fighting with Hezbollah militants in southern Lebanon. And prosecutors are recommending that Eric and Lyle Menendez be resentenced for the 1989 killings of their parents in Beverly Hills. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon announced during a news conference today that his office would recommend the brothers be sentenced to 50 years to life. But he says their ages at the time of the crimes mean they would be eligible for parole immediately. The brothers were sentenced in 1996 to life in prison without parole. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
It's time to bring the thunder. The Regina Thunder are back in action this Sunday as they host the Okanagan Sun. Come out Sunday afternoon and cheer on your Regina Thunder for this CJFL semifinals playoff as they aim to dominate the Sun. Advance tickets are available at reginathunder.ca or can be purchased at the gate. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. at Livel Field. Regina Thunder football. Bring the thunder.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Russ Murley.
Dry air continues to build in from the western sections of the province this evening, and quiet weather is expected as we look forward to tomorrow, with high pressure expected to line up across southern Alberta down into the southern plains in the states. Only weak weather makers impacting the province as we step through the weekend and beyond. It looks like the pattern will remain dry and temperatures will be moderating, particularly by the second half of the weekend on Sunday and into early next week. Our forecast details, it'll be clearing tonight. Lows will drop to a chilly -5. Chance of precipitation near 0. West to northwest winds at 10 to 20. Tomorrow, Friday, mostly sunny skies. A high temperature nudging up to 9 degrees. West to northwest winds at 10 to 20. Chance of precipitation 0. Turning partly cloudy, light winds Friday night down to -5. Partly sunny, 12 on Saturday. Sunny, 17 on Sunday. Partly sunny, 13 on Monday. With your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, I'm meteorologist Russ Murley.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 10, Swift Current 7, Assiniboia 8, York and Melville 9, Moosomin Broadview 8, Estevan 9, and Weyburn is 7. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's partly cloudy, winds from the west at 30, gusting to 44, and it's 10. Regina is mostly sunny, winds from the west at 28, and it's 8. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you big money at Matt's Furniture. From now until October 30th, save more with the Autumn Sweet Savings Event. Buy any 2 qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag kitchen appliances, like the Maytag Smart Electric Range with indoor grill, just $16.99, and save an extra $150. Buy 3 or more qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag appliances, and save an extra $300. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Final hour of the show. It's Maz and Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, filling in for Barney. He's going to be back tomorrow. If you've missed any part of the Sports Cage today, you can always go check out our podcast at sportscage.com. We had Charleston Hughes in hour number 1. We had from Charleston? He calls Rory Roland Milligan Jr. Mulligan. That's his nickname he give him.
Not bad.
Not what we gave him.
No.
Suits is on the road, so we already talked to Glen Suitor. He was on his way to Edmonton, where he's going to do the Argo Elks game tomorrow, and then he'll catch a flight to Regina to do the game against the Stamps on Saturday. We got his thoughts on what he thought, and a lot of what went wrong with the Stampeders. And just, and we talked about that nothing game. Murad Al-Khatib, Regina Thunder this weekend. Regina Rams with a playoff game on the line tomorrow night. Back on CKRM.com. They're going to be taking on the University of Alberta Golden Bears. 6:45 pregame show from Liable Field. Brendan McGuire and Derek Bidwell will have your play-by-play at 7 o'clock. They're playing playoff football because it's win or go home tomorrow night for the Rams.
It's a second life.
Yeah.
For the Regina Rams, because last weekend it was kind of a win or don't get in scenario, or so many of us thought, because playing Alberta, they have a 27-point deficit in the head-to-head battle, right? But now, with a win, the Rams outright get in. So I can, talking with Brendan McGuire earlier this week, he was talking about what the atmosphere was like around the Rams after they fell to the U of S. And again, it was a tight game up in Saskatoon last weekend, but he just, it was devastation to, hey, we still got a shot, right? So they weren't officially eliminated. The mathematics suggested they could still get in with the loss last week, but wow, it's going to be dandy tomorrow night at Liable Field.
The Pats made some big news today, making a splash. They traded Sam Aremba, local kid, to the Spokane Chiefs for 2 draft picks. It's early in the season. He's got decent numbers. We're talking 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, 10 games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of upside, but again, sometimes when you're building a roster and a team, you have to use asset management, and Spokane clearly wanted to go ahead. They had a chance to see him up close and in person, so again, the Regina guy gets an opportunity to go and experience hockey in the U.S. and the WHL, which is absolutely an experience that would be cool to live, but yeah, I'm sure probably mixed emotions from him and his family, but again, a big opportunity. I would suggest going to Spokane to be a leader there.
And you'd have to think when you're 19, some of these general managers are probably looking ahead because they probably be like, would he make a good 20-year-old? Because you need 3 good 20-year-olds no matter what team you're going to be on to have success. So is this forward planning on Spokane's part? And they're decent, right? They're 8-4, third in the West. And it's funny, although the Western Hockey League is one, the Eastern Division is one thing, or what we see out here and play out here. Then you've got the BC division, and then it seems like the American division, they're their own thing, and it's not a different brand of hockey, but you know this because it's just different hockey.
It's almost a league within a league at some points, you know what I mean? But the one thing too that I find intriguing is that when you hear a player is being dealt for draft picks, okay, well that means bad things for our team this year. Well, the draft picks don't have to be stored, right? They can be used to turn it into another asset now. So
yeah, because who knows if Al Miller, you flip this right away to be like, okay, we finally have those draft picks now. We pick up this guy. It makes our team better. And although the season's, 12, 13 games in, it seems like it's been going on a lot longer, but it's not even Halloween yet.
No, and speaking of the prospects and the draft picks, a lot of them are competing in the WHL Cup right now in Red Deer, and Saskatchewan is on the ice. Of course, they started the tournament with a victory yesterday, and right now, BC has just scored to take the lead. They lead 3-2 early on in the second period. Blake Chorney out of Nipawin has got both goals for Team Saskatchewan. Again, the teams are built around kids that have been essentially drafted. So Blake Chorney, for example, has his WHL rights with the Vancouver Giants. So it's an opportunity to see what the future might hold. And again, all of the general managers are in Red Deer exactly seeing who is who and doing what.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of this in-season stuff, and I get it, it's a showcase and you want to do this and put the best players. But my big fear is anything in-season. It's funny when they play that Holinka in the summer. If you end up getting hurt, unfortunately, and it affects the rest of your season, is the juice worth the squeeze? And if you're one of these coaches of a AAA program, because the coaches are usually also trying to move up, okay? Mm-hmm. Something happens to your star player because of something in season, and then all of a sudden, and then it derails. It has effects. I like this stuff in the summer. When the season's on, let them play in whatever the league they're in, and don't muddy that, because they're ultimately, it's sports. Somebody's getting hurt somewhere. That's like when I get it. Like if I'm an NHL owner and the Olympics this season, no, I have zero interest in like Shea Theodore today signing with the Vegas Golden Knights. There's a little breaking NHL news for $7 million a season. Let's say he gets hurt, and I don't have my Shea Theodore $7 million, and people are like, he's not going to make the Olympic team. I'm just using that as an example of,
So just to clarify, are you saying you don't like the idea of an Olympic break for the NHL?
No, I hate it. If I'm an owner, I hate it, because if my star player, one of these guys in the Keniston Super Draft, goes and gets hurt, I can get insurance, but it's my team, it's my chemistry, it's my chance at a Stanley Cup.
Even as an owner, there's some owners that are for it.
But
absolutely.
But you also know these owners, because most of them are usually really good at business and they're super rich. They're ruthless. They know what's good for their business and aren't afraid to make those decisions that have made them like billionaires. And it's never usually by giving away. Trust me, I get it. And this is one of those. It's like arguing with people in a bar about, is AC/DC the best rock band in the world? Either you're going to have all sorts of opinion, there's no rights and there's no wrong. I'm not saying they are. It's Def Leppard, obviously. Hysteria is still one of the best albums of all time. What's with you two over there?
Double C's there.
The double C's. Come.
Yeah,
Listen, if you don't appreciate what Hysteria did for the world of music back in 1987, 7 hit singles, was there a better tour than Hysteria? They never sounded as good.
That was 10 years before me, so that's all I have
and
to say. And
sadly,
on
the
that.
band, after Stephen Clark passed away, never been the same, never sounded as good.
Wow.
But anyways, the in-season stuff, and I get why they're doing this. If you're one of the kids, it's great. But this is where these things in the summer, I don't mind.
So are you okay? So what's your thoughts on the World Juniors? To me, I can understand. To me, I love that tournament. Right? It's a great tournament, and I think it's at the right time. I get that it's in season, and teams do have to make sacrifices, but it's for the good of the game. And I think the owners are the same with the Olympics. It's for the good of the game.
But if I'm one of those 19 other guys that doesn't get invited, but our star goes, and something happens to him, and that means that because of that, if they don't come back, or usually if they come back, they'll get traded or whatever, and something happens, it just has the ripple effect can be huge. And that's where I'm like, trust me, I'm in a minority over here on the whole of this, but
I'm in shock
because it's almost like it's like a weekend in Vegas. It's not real life. You go to this mini tournament, you all get jammed together and all that, but then you got your normal thing that you go back to. Could you imagine if the CFL held an all-star game in the middle of the season and one of the star players went and got hurt?
No, but they used to have an all-star game.
I know.
But
wouldn't that be great? Where would we play it?
You know, I think that would be really fun to have a CFL all-star game, but do it like, again, kind of like they do in the NFL. Like not full 12-on-12. But they do a modification of the game. I think that would be very neat.
No, I hate that when they play like flag football. But if you're going to do it, do it. But
No.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so the Pats will be back home on tomorrow night at the Brand Center. They're going to take on the Calgary Hitmen. 6:30 pregame here on 620 CKRM. We'll have the face-off at 7 o'clock. 9 games in the NHL tonight. Jersey at Detroit, Mini at Tampa Bay, Florida at the Rangers, Dallas at Boston, St. Louis at Toronto, Colorado at Utah. Did Toronto lose the other night to Columbus?
Yeah.
Did I see?
I think that's right, yeah. Winnipeg, though, still unbeaten in Seattle tonight. That's
Carolina's at Calgary. Talking about unbeaten. Like Eric Francis was on yesterday, not only flashing his blockbuster card from 1997 before you two clowns were born, but yeah, what are they, 5-0-1? And keep in mind, like Eric said, eventually this flame stock will fizzle out. Like where...
Here's an interesting matchup for you, though. Again, if I was looking at the schedule in the off season, and I would have saw that Winnipeg was going into Calgary for Hockey Night in Canada, I would have thought, oh, what a dud of a game that one's going to be. But all of a sudden, Calgary's red hot. Winnipeg undefeated in Seattle. Again, they play Seattle tonight, then they go to Calgary. Like that's looking like a pretty good game all of a sudden.
Yeah, and the final game is San Jose at Los Angeles. So it's so funny, this Keniston Super Draft, which are we building this team together? Like I'm seeing, it's funny because you mentioned the Winnipeg Jets. There's no Winnipeg Jets been ticked off here. So you've got Kyle Connor, Nick Ehlers, Josh Morrissey, Cole Perfetti, Mark Scheifele, and Gabe Velarde.
I know that's.
Would Barney be super pissed if I take 5 Jets? Because you're only allowed X amount of players. We're loading up on Winnipeg Jets. I'm all in early.
I don't think that Barney liked what I did last time to that team entry. But see, and I want to.
I know, but like we've got Jack Eichel, we've got Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon. Who doesn't have those guys? You're not winning with the Captain Obvious picks. You're winning with the.
You're
winning with the. Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders went off this year and had a career year.
Yeah.
And had 83 points as opposed to the normal 35 that he puts up. Speaking of that, I'm taking.
You're taking Dobson?
We're taking Noah Dobson here. What are we doing here as a collective?
Who are the Calgary options in the Keniston Super Draft?
Oh yeah, this. Let's just muck this up.
Well,
is Costco on there? Is Kirkland on there?
That's what I want to know.
No. Can we do a write-in?
There's.
I don't think you can.
I'm going to write Kirkland down here.
You're not allowed to write in.
I thought you were.
Really? Maybe you can do it online.
Yeah,
you can do it
the
online.
rules. Barney knows the rules.
Let's see here. If you want to get in on the Keniston Super Draft, it's superdraft.com. Calgary Flames. They have so little faith in the Flames. Instead of 5 options, there's only 4.
No.
You have Jonathan Huberdeau. Honestly, you should have your draft taken away. If you're picking Jonathan Huberdeau, you should probably have your draft taken away from you because that's not from. And that's not just me. That's everybody.
What we call a donation at that point.
Nazem Kadri, who wants to be anywhere but Calgary, he doesn't want to be a Flame. If there's a guy secretly who's saying all the right things, do you think it would break his heart if Kadri got traded?
I don't think it would break his heart, but he's apparently said that he wouldn't. And I'm looking. You have to use the sheet is the sheet, guys. The sheet does not change.
Igor Sharangovich is the last Flame you could choose.
The sheet does not lie.
The Buffalo Sabres, Rasmus Dahlin, JJ Peterka, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck. We got it. What Winnipeg Jet are we taking?
I don't know.
Kyle Connor. Who's got more points right now? Kyle Connor, Nick Ehlers, Josh Morrissey, Cole Perfetti. I like Perfetti just because he's got a cool name. Scheifele and Gabe Velarde.
Josh Morrissey, because he played in PA, would get my vote, but he's a defenseman, so he probably... But he does get power play time, and if there was a power play category, again, it's straight points. Goals, assists, that's all you need to worry about.
Okay, so Winnipeg Jets, who's got more points right now? Like, if we have to make a decision on this.
Wow.
Scheifele has 5 goals, 3 assists. He's got 8 points.
See, and Scheifele would be the safe pick, but... Hence the but, right? And again, superdraft.com is where you can go to get your entry. They have to be in by November the 1st.
So we're taking Scheifele?
Yeah. I'd be careful how you mark that.
Well, I'm putting it in pen. You don't put anything in pencil.
Barney's going to be upset, man.
Yeah, he just texted me, don't screw anything up.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, he's welcome to come on down and be part of the show at any time. Hey, the Kennison Super Draft, first place is $20,000. So do we split that if we win?
I think that's what the Sportscage one is, right?
Yeah, Barney pays the entry, and then we split what we win. Perfect. Love it.
First place is $20,000.
Thanks,
yeah,
Barney.
but here's the thing, though. The Sportscage, trust me, if there's a check for $20,000 coming our way, all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of glommers on coming out of the woodwork to be like, oh, I'm part of the Sportscage. Oh no, you remember you emailed me 4 months ago. I'm part of it. Like that would be the equivalent of winning the work lotto pool and you didn't put in your money that week.
Yeah, that or Curtis is just going to have a camera all of a sudden.
No.
I saw a head shake there. Guess not.
Yeah.
Curtis doesn't vote, so Curtis doesn't get any of this.
No, Curtis voted. He voted.
He voted.
I would love to do a super draft pick, obviously. My favorite player, Phil Kessel. I love him.
Well, if you could find what team Phil Kessel's on this year, and spoiler alert, he's not on any team this year, I will check him off on the list. He was a good Vegas Golden Knight, because I imagine after the game, if it was a home game, and Phil just goes on the strip, and he's just eating and drinking and gambling with regular people.
Well, there comes the lawsuit.
What? Minnesota Wild, Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators. Ugh.
Well, Ottawa at some point has to be good. At some point.
Who's pick? If you're a Toronto Maple Leaf delusional diehard, are you really picking Max Domi over Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner?
Does Barney have anybody picked for Montreal? We got to get people weighing in on the text line, I think.
Cole Caulfield, Kirby Doc. The one thing, so seeing Kirby Doc, and he was a great Western Hockey Leaguer, played for the Blades. I feel bad for him because he's never had a chance to live up to his potential in the NHL because he's gotten hurt and then he's gotten traded and he's had to restart or rejig a couple of times. And it's too bad because he was so good and you can see it's there.
Well, look at the injuries he sustained, right? Chicago loans him to the World Juniors and he breaks his arm. Right? That was not good.
If this is Law and Order and my mother-in-law is watching a rerun, I rest my case.
No, see, that was a freak accident.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
You're still anti-Olympics.
But
so.
Look what it's done. Like, the poor guy has never... So after that, he's never, ever... Probably, I don't know if he'll probably, but it's never panned out sort of the way it should have if we're writing the movie script of... He's a very high draft pick. He's going to go and get a really good opportunity.
He's had bad luck.
Yeah, I know.
Because in Montreal, he got injured when he ran into the open gate. That doesn't happen every day.
I know. But
it has nothing to do with an in-season tournament, I'll have you know.
When did he get injured?
You're just trying to pull it out of there.
Why goes to... Barney says if we win, it's going to charity.
Oh, perfect.
So first of all, there's 4 of us in here. When has he been charity guy? I would love to check his tax returns from the past 5 years and see all of the charitable donations that have been made on hhis behalf.
I think all of them go to the Monday Nooner charity organization.
Oh, that's a charity now? If you want to be part of the Kennison Super Draft, it's superdraft.com. If you haven't been on the Sportscage socials today, but you're a bit of a hockey fan, one of the most unique things in the past 24 hours that has popped up and gone viral on social media is the Zamboni driver who was drunk because he was charged with a DUI in Quebec when he was reflooding the ice because he crashed into the boards. So we have video of that. And you're like, okay. And isn't it you go to enough hockey rinks and you're around hockey, we've all probably at one point or another thought, it'd be kind of cool to try and drive the Zamboni and resurface the ice, right? I'm not alone.
I have.
You have?
I have.
Where?
The Dalmeny Arena allowed me to come out for an afternoon to learn to drive the Zamboni.
It's obviously, it must be harder than it looks.
Absolutely is harder than it looks because you have an incredible blind spot. So, you know, the Zamboni seat, right? If you look at the Zamboni, it's on the left-hand side. So it would be the driver's side, right? So that's why you go around that way around the rink. But if you try to see over the corner, the far corner in front, you can't. No idea. You have no clue what's going on there.
So
Zamboni
how bad
driver.
did the ice look after you got done? Because obviously it wouldn't have been a perfect flood.
No, it wasn't. So
the guys that are pro, they make it look easy.
Yeah. No, I didn't do well. And they said just go ahead and use your vision. I'm like, well, of course I'm going to use my vision. I'm trying to drive a Zamboni, but not the easiest thing in the world.
So he's a Zamboni driver and he's drunk and he crashes into the boards and he gets arrested. But here's the thing: he's dressed like a kangaroo while he's doing it, which is the part that people are. It's not that it's weird enough that the Zamboni driver got a DUI. It's that he's dressed like a kangaroo when all of this is happening. So I'm like, I would love to see the mugshot of that guy, wherever that is, in the kangaroo costume as he's getting taken down. We have it posted on our Facebook and on our Twitter feed at Sportscage. All right. It's time to take a break. I'm going to come back. We've got Saskatchewan Roughrider tickets to give away. We'll get into that and what we can expect Saturday at Mosaic Stadium, because there's tricks and treats on the way when the Riders wrap up the regular season against the Stamps. We'll be right back. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskag Today on 620 CKRM with your host Ryan Young along with Doug Falconer and Kevin Hirsch, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists. In an industry that moves fast, stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, prices and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at saskagtoday.com. Saskag Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture on 620 CKRM.
Meet your new favorite shade of green. At Nick Service, we offer the Fendt 500 Vario Series tractor that's tailor-made for your farm. Get better stability, ease of use, and comfort with one tractor. Whether you're feeding, tilling, baling, or hauling, this series is built for your farm. Experience up to 163 horsepower with this multi-purpose tractor. Visit Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nickservice.com to get a quote on the Fendt 500 Vario Series.
This is Mohammed Fayaz, your Saskatchewan Party candidate for Regina Pasqua. Premier Scott Moe and the Saskatchewan Party have a plan to make life more affordable for everyone. We will increase the graduate retention program for students, create a new home renovation program for homeowners, increase the personal care home benefit for seniors, and cut income taxes for everyone. On October 28, let's keep our economy strong and our future bright. Vote Saskatchewan Party.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every game, home or away. And don't wait for the last minute. Get in on the amazing early bird prizes. Everything raised is used to support minor football in Saskatchewan. Support a great cause and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Sponsored by ISC.
Calling all farmers, ranchers, and producers. Did you know you hold the key to a resilient agriculture future? Donate to Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan and help connect students with agriculture. Together, we can cultivate a generation that understands, appreciates, and champions the heart of farming. A sustainable future begins with investing in education today. Make a charitable donation to Ag in the Classroom at aitc.sk.ca/donate.
tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
Hi, this is Stephen Arndt from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as the scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
Hey there, Saskatchewan. Need a reliable teammate to catch your pass when the game gets tough? Check out Harvard Western Insurance, the official insurance partner of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And guess who's joining their manager team? It's the one and only Deanna Cole. We couldn't agree more, Gaynor. Deanna's been a rock star at our Milestone office for years, and now she's bringing her expertise as manager to our offices in Rollo, Yellowgrass, and Pangman. It looks like Gaynor is ready to cheer her on. Visit a Harvard Western Insurance location near you today.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Hey, if you want to fire off a text to the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, the word Riders with an S, that can win you tickets to the game on Saturday. It's the 13th fan game. Trick plays and treats as the Saskatchewan Roughriders will wrap up the regular season against the Calgary Stampeders. Now, early in the day, if the football gods are on our side, the Montreal Alouettes beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and then we go and make a business decision, and we beat those Calgary Stampeders. First place Western final and an extra week off.
You know, speaking of trick plays, here's something for you to consider. How entertaining is this game going to be on Saturday? Because if I'm the Calgary Stampeders, right, every team practices trick plays, whether it's a fake punt, whether it's a gadget play like we saw the Riders run in the red zone, right, with an A.J. Ouellette pass. Like, do you just empty out your bag of tricks? You're not going to need them. Or are you saving them, right? Because once you put them, you can only do them once. And once you put it out there.
Do you want to know one of the underrated plays that they don't do enough? That, you know, when on a kickoff or a punt return, when they'll do like the reverse or the fake reverse when they come running at it, that play isn't used enough, because all of a sudden if you do that, the defenders can't stop on a dime and all of a sudden go to the other direction. So to me, like the double pass or like the flea flicker, you see that quite a bit, but it's that the return and the reverse, which can totally change a game.
The old sleeper play in the Canadian Football League.
Or the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, the sleeper play.
The one where where you have two returners, right? And you find a guy with an arm, because in a Canadian Football League field, you have to have a guy with an arm. But catch the pass and then throw it across the field?
Yes.
To me, that one makes sense. And I don't know why we don't see it. I guess there's the whole thing, well, it could be intercepted. It's a long throw. You're obviously not going to put a quarterback back to receive a punt, but just saying, I've always thought that would be a unique play to go.
Yeah, Stamps have got nothing to lose. And, Dave Dickinson, there's a lot of questions swirling around him as the head coach and general manager. A lot of people think that double role, it was popular for a while. But here's the problem, and this is what I hate about the CFL, that coaching cap. If you're a team and you're fortunate enough to have money, if you want 13 coaches and you have the money to pay them, fill your boots. If you have enough for 5, you pay 5. Don't punish the teams by doing this, because all of a sudden Dickinson, dual role, and now they're saying everything is suffering in Calgary because he's overloaded. But you can't have an extra $300,000 or $350,000 job laying around. Somebody has to absorb it somewhere. So if you're one of the haves, because for the longest time, remember, we know this in Rider Nation, for the longest time, Toronto, Edmonton, all of those teams that had money or resources, well, here we were, suffering through everything. It wasn't until the salary cap when things kind of became a little more normal, or should we say legal, as to how the league had to run.
There's structure with that. Interesting, though, there's only 2 GM coaches in the league now. And Rick Campbell's a co-GM. He's not the sole guy. But yeah, Dave Dickinson, and at the start of the year was Chris Jones as well in Edmonton. Interesting thought.
So if they got rid of that coaching cap, and it's one of those things, and if your team has the money and you're like, no, we need 15 coaches. Like, we need that, and we need the assistants because we need the next generation coming up. Be allowed. It's up to you because that's your thing. Don't cap. Don't. It's funny. It's almost like you're squashing progress. This is what's going to grow your league ultimately, right? Ultimately. Because look at how the CFL has done a great job of bringing guys along. Like Corey May started somewhere as an assistant, and you do that. When you limit that path, you close down a few of those roads. If you want to coach, you're probably going to go look elsewhere. And that's probably the States, could be CIS, it could be somewhere else, if those CFL roads are closed down because of this. And especially if people are saying, oh no, the product's suffering because the two people can't do one job nowadays. Or one person can't do both jobs.
I don't know. I've been a fan of both roles, but again, the organization is going to pick what they want to do
If
best.
you win, ultimately, winning cures everything. No one says a word.
No, you're right.
But when the Stamps are awful, are they only at 4 wins?
4 wins.
They're stuck at 4 wins. They have the first pick in the CFL draft. We know that already.
Mhm.
Nothing that will happen this weekend will change that. That's weird. Now, are we looking, because you're like a CIS guy, what is the draft looking like this year? Would they consider this as a strong draft? Are there some... Now, outside of Nathan Rourke's brother, who hurt his finger last weekend, and could be sidelined for a while, like, where is that guy? Because you'd have to think it's in the DNA and the bloodline. If he gets a sniff at the NFL, he's going to take that.
Oh, of course. That goes without question. I'm assuming he'll be taken, but I don't think he'll be a high draft pick.
But
because
if the opportunity's there, he'll at least get signed as a free agent draft pick, I would think.
And that's why I would never want to have that job to figure out who to select in the Canadian Football League draft. There's just so many variables.
Well, did you see the other night watching the New Orleans game? Was it Kyle Hergel, our first round pick? He was playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there was an injury, and then an opportunity, and then he's starting on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And those Saints uniforms they wore last week, those were awful. Those are some of the ugliest. Because normally I don't mind the Saints uniforms, but that was not a good look. Saturday's countdown to kickoff is going to get rolling at 2 o'clock here on CKRM. Rider Nation pregame show at 4 with kickoff at 5. Tricks and treats. If you're wearing your Halloween costume to Mosaic, in talking with Kevin Clive from the Riders the other day, they will be handing out candy on the concourse.
Like that. And they've got special bags for the kids. So when you walk in, you can go ahead and you can get this bag for trick-or-treating and then do some trick-or-treating.
And I wonder how many people, because, they'll be walking up to the people that sell beer. Trick-or-treat! Oh, come on, just put one in the bag here. Oh, come on. Speaking of in the bag. Rider Nation Roundtable will close out the game. If you want some tickets, texting Riders to 306-936-6262. So Hamilton's at Ottawa tomorrow. Oof. How many people are going to show up at that game?
Well, for Ottawa, it means something. It doesn't mean anything in the standings, but it means they've got an opportunity to go ahead and get on a roll. And again, talked about momentum. That was what Trevor Harris told me this week at Rider Practice. We've got to keep the momentum going into the playoffs. That's what good teams do. And Ottawa needs to build some momentum. They're going to make a change at running back. They're going to rest. I don't know if they're going to rest or bench. You take your pick on the verbiage you want to use when it comes to Laybourne. So he won't play, and they're going to bring somebody else in, and they're going to try to get a spark as they go into the postseason because they've been struggling, and they've had some key injuries in their defense along the way.
Toronto's at Edmonton. Toronto is going to be resting all sorts of people. Edmonton is just, I don't know, it's just a dumpster fire. Is McLeod Bethel-Thompson even going to dress?
I'm not sure if he's dressing this week or not, but
because he's at 3,800 yards. Like, if I'm him and I have a clause in my contract for 4,000 throwing yards, I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
because a lot of them are incentive based.
But yeah, and again, that's a big decision for the franchise, right? Because
I don't think
players
he's there next year. I don't think he's there next year.
I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that, okay, so if you are a player in the league and potentially looking to make a move next season, and Edmonton doesn't allow a bonus clause in your contract to trigger because you didn't play the guy, right? That gets around the league, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I have no idea what McLeod Bethel-Thompson's contract status is as far as bonus clauses go, but just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for the Elks, though, to get some more momentum because they've been decent down the stretch. They just didn't win games that they had to win with some critical errors at bad times to start the season.
Yeah, and some bad coaching. So the Winnipeg at Montreal game, that'll be at 1 o'clock on Saturday, so that should wrap by 4.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really intrigued with what Glen said. When Suits said, are you going to go ahead and allow your team to watch the game before the game? Because I'm sure they'll all know the outcome before they take the field.
Well, here's the thing. Do you want it to be, for the anxiety of Rider Nation, do you want this to be a blowout on either way and it over early? Or, as opposed to like a nail biter that's coming, it's a 1-pointer with somebody kicking a field goal with 12 seconds left.
I think that if you're the Riders, you come out and you execute. And if you can pick up right where you left off against BC with the bye week, you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
You want to see that level of execution.
Since the Riders have been playing such good football for the past month, like it doesn't, trust me, if we were going in on a 4-game losing streak to this game as opposed to a 4-game winning streak, like it's one of those things. Regardless, you're going to have to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers somewhere along the way probably to get to the goal of getting to the Grey Cup or winning the Grey. Yeah. So like it's going to have to happen.
Yep.
So somebody's going to have to, like, Winnipeg is not going to not show up when it matters.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
They're good. 4 Grey Cups in a row. They think it's a dynasty, but they've only won 2 out of the 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still.
I know. But they're like a
Get
Roush
to
said,
the dance.
getting there is one thing, winning is another. Calgary, Saskatchewan kicking off at 5. So, hey, listen. When we were mired in the 7 or 8 week slump in the middle of summer for the scenario, none of us could imagine the scenario that we're talking about right now.
No.
So we'll take it.
And it's interesting as well. The team is, they're not putting it clearly in, they put it in the rearview mirror. They're not discounting it. They're not saying it doesn't happen, but they're definitely not addressing it anymore.
Well, it's good. I'm glad it happened back in the summer. It sucked to go through, but I'm glad we're having now. Final question before we get to CJ Rivas. Are you dressing up for the game on Saturday in any sort of costume?
No, I will not be. Sorry. The last time I dressed up for Halloween, I think we used to do it with our neighbors. And so we went as Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man and Ghosts one year. And
nice.
Did the characters from The Wizard of Oz one year. Geez, we've done some good ones over the years. But yeah, no, I will not be dressing up. Not because I have anything against dressing up, just I've got a vibe with a specific outfit that's been pretty successful this year, and it's turned in the rotation, so I'm not going to change that.
Oh my God, are you psycho that you like have that superstitious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Drive the same way to the stadium every day. Get the same cup of coffee on the way to every game.
Nice. That's a dedicated broadcaster right there. If he has his own crazy superstitions like the players do, that's awesome. It was a close practice today, but Dave Thomas was able to catch up with CJ Rivas after all was said and done, and he had this to say about Roland Milligan Jr.
Well, CJ, from a media perspective, it's kind of hard how we're going to approach this weekend and the story that we're going to tell. What is it like from a player perspective with so many different things that can factor into what the story will be?
I think we just got to go out there and win. I think no matter what, if we don't win, it doesn't really matter. So I think we got to go out there and win and just focus on doing our job 1-0 every week like normally. And I think hopefully we'll be all right in the end of the day.
How much of this week's process is about what we, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, do as opposed to what Calgary may or may not do in a game that's meaningless for them?
Yeah. I think we still approach it like a normal week. I think I'm sure they're going to play hard. They're going to play their guys. I'm sure they're fighting for jobs still, fighting for their name on the back of their plate. So I think just go out there hungry, go out there, play hard like you always do, and just hope we get a win.
Last game, I thought, and Coach Mace agreed, was the most complete game that this team has played. How do you build on that?
I think it's going to sound repetitive, man, but just doing our jobs. I think this year we had games where the offense didn't do their job or defense did their job, especially but we had our first full-fledged game last week. I think that's a good tell going into the playoffs. So I think we got to just keep on doing that, lock in on our job, and just stay focused.
Yesterday we had a chance to congratulate Roland Milligan Jr. for the 3 awards that he received, and he took a moment to thank you for holding him to a standard. Tell me about the relationship between you two.
I think it's competitive, man. Like Rose, one of the best players I've ever played against. Played with. I think every day we just compete. Like I said, I'm on his tail every day. So if he makes a play, I'm making one after him. So I think it's just that nature of us just knowing that we're always trying to compete, like a brotherly love type situation for sure.
how is it off the field in the film room? Is there competition there too?
For sure, man. Like I think every single day we're like the last two here, the first two in the building. I think it's just a thing like we know. I know what he wants to be. He knows what I want to be. So if we're not holding up to that day, he'll be like, "Hey, come on, Reeve. You say you want to be great," or saying, "Hey, Ro, come on, let's go, man." So I think just holding us to our standard and keeping us to our word.
So what did you think when you saw his name on that list 3 times?
Man, I was excited for him, man, because he works hard every single day. Like I said, he's the last one here every day, just like I am. And I just like a guy who works hard and gets what he deserves. I just love seeing that.
CJ, thanks so much for this. All the best this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
CJ Rivas, Saskatchewan Roughrider, getting ready for the big game Saturday as we'll take on the Stamps to close out the regular season. It's the 13th fan game on Saturday. Trick plays and treats. They're not going to say how many trick plays they're going to run. But, could you imagine to be like, listen, we promised 5. In the social media post, we said there'll be at least 5 by the third quarter. All right? Somebody's radiating down to the booth. It should be a lot of fun. And weather-wise, looking decent. What are we like in the 9?
I was looking 9-10 degrees the last
degrees.
time I saw the forecast. Yeah.
All right. Hey, if you haven't been to the all-new Sportscage.com website lately, we've got a brand new article up from Brendan McGuire about how the Regina Rams, they need to win tomorrow night at Mosaic Stadium to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. And also, NHL Central Scouting has a new list out and 15 players with ties to Saskatchewan on there. Bookmark it. It's our website. If you haven't been lately, you can go now, or you can catch the stream at sportscage.com.
The Saskatchewan Party will make life more affordable for students, for homeowners, and for families. We'll increase the amount students get back through the Graduate Retention Program. We'll increase the first-time homebuyers tax credit. We'll create a home renovation tax credit, and we will increase the active families benefit for children's activities. We'll also reduce your income tax and keep home heating exempt from the Trudeau NDP carbon tax. The Saskatchewan Party, making life more affordable for Saskatchewan people.
Authorized by the financial agents for all provincial Saskatchewan Party candidates.
This wasn't an animal, and it wasn't human either. Take that!
Sometimes you need to work outside in the cold. Maybe not battling a snow beast, but regular work. Prairieland Rental has heaters, generators, and all the things you need when you work outside. You can even rent skid steers to move snow and deal directly with the owner.
Take that and that!
Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles, to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
At McDougall Auctioneers, we're not just selling heavy equipment, we're powering progress. Hi, this is Riley McChesney. Our online auctions bring together the best machinery and the biggest network of buyers. Whether it's construction marvels or industrial giants, we sell with expertise and a commitment to value. Choose McDougall Auctioneers for auctions that move as fast as your business does. McDougall Auctioneers, 1-800-263-4193, or visit us at mcdougallauction.com.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every game, home or away. And don't wait for the last minute. Get in on the amazing early bird prizes. Everything raised is used to support minor football in Saskatchewan. Support a great cause and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Sponsored by ISC.
You've been on the road a lot, and you may be wondering if your old tires will make it going into winter. Head to your locally owned Integra Tire dealer. They have great deals on a huge selection of new tires. Save up to $100 on select winter tires until December 31st. Be ready for winter and get your Goodyear tire rebate at Karst Holdings in Assiniboia or Schlamps Integra Tire in Grenfell. Your locally owned Integra Tire dealers.
You've probably heard people say, happy spouse, happy house. For my wife, it's as simple as keeping the Wi-Fi running and making sure the house stays warm all winter. That's why I always call on Aero Plumbing and Heating for everything from maintenance to energy service or unit replacements. Right now, you can get a new furnace from Aero starting at just $67.50 a month plus a $650 Sask Energy rebate. That part keeps both of us happy. Call the straight shooters at Aero Plumbing and Heating or visit aeroplumbing.ca.
Aero Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Here for you when you need us. Call or text us 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Tomorrow night is Game 1 of the World Series. The New York Yankees in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. I heard you guys on the show the other day talking about ticket prices and how expensive they are. I saw something earlier today. I clicked on, it's like $1,500 minimum for like one of the worst seats at Chavez Ravine to be like in the outfield where all like the violence happens.
Yeah.
Oh no, and if you've ever been to Dodger Stadium, if you're trying to drive there, like you are probably 2.5 hours to get in and about 4 hours to get out because there is so much traffic and those freeways are so busy at all times. And I can only imagine tomorrow how crazy it's going to be.
If you're spending $1,500 a ticket, you're okay with it. Trust me.
You don't care. Maybe you take a helicopter in because that's how you roll. Starting pitchers, Garrett Cole for the Yankees and Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers. Have I missed out on Jack Flaherty? Like, I know Garrett Cole is, but Jack Flaherty.
No,
like, has he always been a Dodger?
For the last couple of years.
Okay.
But he's good. It'll be a good matchup on the
Me
hill.
too.
For
And
sure.
like I said, you need villains. And we've got the two ultimate villains in Major League Baseball squaring off. And if you're Rob Manfred, who is the commissioner, there's nothing better that you could have thought of.
No.
TV markets, advertising dollars, like celebrities that are going to be attending.
Well, and you've got Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani.
Oh.
Right? You got everything you wanted.
Dream matchup.
Hey, quick update for you from the WHL Cup. Team British Columbia has scored a couple of goals in that second period, so they're now through 40 minutes. It's BC 4, Saskatchewan 2. Of course, Saskatchewan opened up with a victory yesterday, taking on BC now in Red Deer.
Remember a couple of weeks on the show, I had mentioned that my wife, her whole family curls. And so she's gotten our girls into curling. This is their third year.
Mm-hmm.
So on Saturdays they go. And it's like 2 hours. And, it's everything from the basics. And it's funny, on Saturday they were throwing rocks at a pylon in the middle. I was like, wow, like it's neat to see where they've come. But so on our Sports Cage social channels, did you see this? I put this up. So I did take a picture of this.
This is from Calgary?
No, this is here. So no shirt. This is a picture on the wall.
Yeah.
No shirt, no clean shoes, no curling. Please respect the ice. Thank you. What kind of incident happened at a curling rink that someone was shirtless, that a sign has to be put up that you must have a shirt on to curl? Because,
Wednesday night men's league.
Well,
that's
no,
what
but I'm
happened.
going to say, I'm not against it. I want to hear this story because this is obviously it's legendary to be now that there's signs up that somebody was out on the ice without a shirt on. And here's the thing. It's October. It's early in the season. Yeah. This wasn't up last week. This was up on this Saturday. So what happened in the past 7 days?
7 days, yeah.
That whether somebody was there live, and now that everything's on a security camera to be like, oh, man.
Yeah. No, I love curling. I
love curling. And here's the other thing, too. Like, I'm looking at the menu prices, and the inflation's everywhere. But, fries were still $4. A beer was only $5.50. Like, it was still reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm.
So, as opposed to, and the other thing about curling, I don't care what anybody says, you'll meet some of the best, most down-to-earth people ever. And did you notice that curling, it is a sport. How sporty it is, that's a whole other debate, like wrestling.
Ooh.
But you'll see it's like people that run marathons. You'll see the weirdest people, like shapes, sizes, or whatever, that are able to curl. And somebody will walk in and be like, "Well, no, you must be a spec." No, they're out on the ice throwing rocks, and you would never be like, "It's just such a weird game that way."
My son is a curler, and I give him all kinds of credit because it's his passion. He loves doing it, and I don't have much experience with the sport, and he got me out playing once, and I'm just amazed at the precision that you need, the dedication you have to have, like the mental fortitude. So I'm impressed.
So when it comes to curling, because over the years at my in-laws' house, I've had to watch a lot of tennis and Tour de France and just garbage that I just hate. So whatever it is in curling, whoever my mother-in-law doesn't like she doesn't like Rachel Homan. And so I'm like, I'm a Rachel Homan fan. I'm like, hey, listen, can't argue with the results. Best there is. Can't be mad at winning. Wow. All she does is win, and it just drives her. And she never liked Jennifer Jones. That used to drive her crazy. I'd be like, man, that Jones, just to poke the bear, just to egg it on. I'm like, if I have to sit here and watch, then I know who I'm picking. Once again, the villains. I'm taking the villains, the people that are supposed to.
I'm excited for Mike McEwen's season here in Saskatchewan.
That still, going back to the Brier, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
They played so well up until that final game, and it's not like they didn't play bad in that final game. They just didn't play like they had played earlier in the week. Like there was just something off that game, and it had to be that game where.
That's when it happens.
So you wonder like how hungry they are to be like, we were this close last year. We got to get it together. All right, that'll do it for today. Thanks if you've been watching on the stream on X or at sportscage.com on YouTube, if you've been listening on 620 CKRM. If you've missed any part of the show, you can always go back and catch the podcast. You've got Charleston Hughes. You've got Glen Suitor, Murad Al-Khatib talking Regina Thunder, and kick returner Mario Alford from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There's a little bit of football in that podcast and a lot about farming. If you don't know his backstory, I'm going to say go have a listen, and you will look at him in a whole different way, because if you were to run into him, and let's say, you're someone that makes a living off the land, you may have a lot in common and could strike up a good conversation. That'll do it. Thanks for listening to the all-new Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. Have a good night.
It's time to bring the thunder. The Regina Thunder are back in action this Sunday as they host the Okanagan Sun. Come out Sunday afternoon and cheer on your Regina Thunder for this CJFL semifinals playoff as they